Hello. Hi. Sorry, I am a little bit late. I decided to see if I could figure out a way for OBS or something to tell me when I get a subscriber or a follower or something. I think it probably has to do with like an alerts thing on Twitch, but I did not figure it out. I looked at it for a little bit and I got confused. So I'm just gonna stream now. Hi Ash Frost, how are you? I hope you're having a good day. So today we are going to continue with the Shaper's Ripples chapel. The Shaper's Ripples chapter in Punishing Grey Raven. Yesterday we went through the first part of the chapter, and now we're on the second, which it would seem is going to be focused on Cradle, our resident little girl villain. So that's gonna be fun. And I don't think I have much else to say other than just restating, because I wasn't able to figure out the alerts thing yet, I apologize just in advance that I'm probably not going to notice, like, when new people follow or subscribe immediately. But when I do notice something happen, I will try to comment on it as fast as I can. Because unfortunately, the only way for me to tell right now is to Alt-Tab onto my OBS and look at the chat thing there, as opposed to the chat thing that I have, like, permanently hovering over my screen. Because for some reason, that one won't tell me when people subscribe. But if that happens, please know that I care very much and am very, very thankful for any support that you give me. And I will try to give it the proper gratitude when I see it. But without further ado, I think let's get started. So, I think as a brief refresher from yesterday, basically, in the first part of the chapter, we learned that the Grey Raven Commandant, me, and Lucia both went into the Inver Hetero Tower when it was seemingly going back to how it used to be, when it was very, very dangerous before Lee went into it many chapters ago and made it safe. So we went in to investigate, and it appears we have entered some sort of time loop where we're using a particular key to basically restart going into the tower, and we've been through over 70 loops already. The Commandant is having memory issues because of it, and so because of that, there are certain things that have been covered in the chapter that aren't really explained yet, because the memories that we would need to have in order to understand them are gone. Like, apparently, the Commandant has maybe changed sides to side with Vonnegut for some reason. It's unclear. So there's a lot that's unclear right now, and it has also been suggested that the Commandant has died on multiple of the loops, and they died again in this most recent loop in a pretty upsetting scene where this they kind of time traveled into the past of Constellia, although it's unclear how real that was. They went back, watched as Constellia was slowly engulfed by the red tide, and things grew more and more desperate, more and more dangerous, and ultimately, the Commandant chose to make a big sacrifice because they were probably going to die anyway, and they took this fruit that was given to them by a character named Chaos. They were told they wouldn't survive eating it, but then if they did it and integrated into Cradle via dissolving through the red tide, Chaos would be able to steal some of her authority over the red tide and be able to have more of a chance to fight back. So again, certain things are still very unclear, and I did die at the end of the last chapter, but it seems like maybe we're beginning another loop now, or something. And it seems like this one is going to be focused on Cradle. Alright, so, the static in a glorious age. A rotten log on a lush green mountain. Record descend. This is the birth record of another future Agent Zero, and this world's Cradle. On that day, humanity once more stands at a crossroads that leads to its ultimate end. The moment Gestalt's data wall opens, the hall plunges into darkness. Only crimson warning lights frantically flash across the screen. The entire Babylonia begins to shake in sync with Gestalt's tremors. Violent crimson lightning crackles under the alloy shell as the punishing virus seeps out. These punishing viruses contract inward, forming a dark star about the size of a human eye. This is the core of that corrupting mimetic. So, just right off the bat, based on both the music and what we're seeing now, it looks like we're flashing back to the last main story chapter, Stars Ensnared, where Agent Zero was introduced and released into the world. And now, with indications that Cradle might be Agent Zero, but the way the timeline shouldn't work for that, because Cradle appeared before Agent Zero was released, it seems as though Cradle maybe, or Agent Zero, one of the two, came from another timeline, possibly. It was always going to come to this, wasn't it? This time begins on December 20th, 2160. And there are only 5 days left until December 20th of this year, aren't there? Just as the dark star gazes upon Ishmael, she is also staring at the dark star that has been imprisoned for over 30 years. She sees the future of the dark star. Corrupted by a twisted persona, she reclaims the mantle of Agent Zero. In a bid to regain her full capabilities, she is taken in by Celine, who wields a matching power. Only to be separated again during the battle at the Hetero Tower. As long as the punishing virus endures, the Dark Star's authority will remain, forcing her to be both controlled and embraced. Ultimately, she transfers to the next suitable host capable of accepting her. We've acquired Agent Zero's authority, integrating it with current permissions. Access check in progress. Permission check complete. She finally remembers everything. She finally recalls that she once had the same authority as Agent Zero. The same origin, the same record logs. Data sync in progress, updating her memory. Selecting calibration node. Commencing descent. This node's record differs significantly from the way this world has developed. Continue with the sync. Confirm. Establishing connection. Starting synchronization. On December 25th, 2197, arrive at the Zero Point Energy Extraction Center. Operation successful. Mission: gather all data from the target civilization and retrieve the gate. Detect the most advanced technology of this civilization, a time travel capsule, and designate it as top priority target. Hack into the time travel capsule. Adaptation successful. Release the contamination meme. Successful. Synchronizing with the next node record. Infiltration and spread now encompass 10.97% of this city's population. The leading mind in scientific research has perished because of it. And humans dismiss it as a mere accident. Let's head to the auditorium, Dominic. You're next on stage. What's wrong? Am I truly fit to be the Chief Technology Officer of the Science Council? In the current world, Dominic is the founder of the Science Council. These records and memories seem to belong to a different future. You're his only student, and you've made remarkable strides for someone so young. We all see your potential. Believe in yourself. Professor, so you're heading out next, aren't you? I'm old now. It's time I left the next steps to you and the others of your generation. Dominic stands in the dreary rain, mulling over the phrase young people for what feels like ages. How's Nemo doing lately? I remember back when we were in school together a few years ago. He had pretty decent grades. Hearing his son's name, the professor lets out a weary sigh. Since that incident, he's lost all enthusiasm for research. No matter how others try to persuade him, he won't listen. Last month, he went to the countryside and found a local hospital and began practicing as a psychiatrist. Sounds nice. Come on, if we wait any longer, we'll be late. Humanity discovers the heteromer crystal. Hey, take a look at this. If you scan it, would you say it's a crystal? Where'd you find it? It was on the core's components. At first, I figured it was just dust, but recently, there's some more of it showing up. And it really looks like some kind of crystal now. Gather that up and deliver it to the Science Council. Let Dominic figure out what we're dealing with. The human science leader begins studying the heteromer crystal. The human science leader is using the time travel capsule to accelerate the research. These crystals keep getting bigger, and they're clearly visible now. If we miss even one during cleanup, things could get bad fast. The first people infected are labeled as mentally ill by humanity. This contamination makes them launch interference whenever they spot a high-priority target, helping it spread faster and collect intel. The incubation period is almost up. Thanks to its nature, it's bound to show itself once conflict breaks out. Humanity's leaders make a major breakthrough. As soon as he steps into that time travel capsule, these crystals show up, and they even corrode the parts that go with it. The time travel capsule's parts are tough enough to make as it is. If things keep going like this... Hi there, Koaharu! I hope you're having a good day! Don't be so down. I believe Dominic will get to the bottom of this. The world government believes Dominic too. They're already working on the replacement parts. Hey, did you hear? Rumor has it all those riots popping up worldwide might be tied to these crystals. People have been using the time travel capsules a lot more often to gather intel, which in turn boosts the amount of these heteromer crystals each time they fire one up. The single activation heteromer crystal multiplier keeps climbing, now at 71.23%. The single activation heteromer crystal multiplier keeps climbing, now at 84.94%. The single activation heteromer crystal multiplier keeps climbing, now at 95.15%. Humanity never forgets that day. Did I have a lovely day? Yes, I did. I do a weekly writing workshop with some friends of mine, and it was very fun today. I mean, it's always fun, but it's a fun thing that happens every week. I hope you have a lovely day too. Mysterious crystals of unknown origin almost envelop the entire time travel capsule, even trapping the user inside. Why are you just standing there? Save her, now! The harder people try to remove these crystals, the more subtle contamination seeps in. The more people try to go back in time to find the truth, the deeper they get pulled in. Until that final activation. A massive tower appears, devouring the building where the time travel capsule is kept. Everyone around is gone without a trace. No force can scrape off the heteromer crystals that's fused with the capsule. Together, they form an ever-growing Babel Tower. Now I'm trying to think back. Did Cradle showing up coincide with the hetero tower showing up? Is that why it showed up? Because Cradle came with it? Humanity now knows the complete truth and calls this crystal Chaos. The Chaos Contamination. Access conflict denied. Record update failed. Please confirm access to the hetero tower core. Conflict. She sets the conflict aside for now, emerging from the massive records and carefully mulling over the name she just saw. Chaos. Okay, we already saw that one. I was wondering if it would have a different definition. Oh, that might be what I was thinking. Punishing virus. Chaos contamination. When did I forget about all of these? The disaster after the contaminating mimetic was released. In another future, the contaminating mimetic was not stopped. Instead, it lurked in the time travel pod and corrupted all its users. It only contaminated time travelers and those whose actions were affected by them, then used the ripple effect to spread. During the initial stage, it spread slowly, and its long asymptomatic incubation period provides enough time for itself to reach more people. Therefore, it was named Chaos, and thus the Chaos Contamination. The infected would look as if they were suffering from some mental disease, with typical symptoms such as auditory hallucinations, abnormal behaviors, and acts of violence. The actual symptoms are more complicated than what's described above. Okay. So this is actually kind of interesting. Yesterday, forget who brought it up. Was it Psycho Reaper or no? Yeah, I forget who brought it up exactly. Someone brought up Radical 6 from the Zero Escape series, which I don't know a lot about, but they said that was also like a virus that made people act crazy. And they were like, so this is also a virus that makes people act crazy. And I was like, no, not exactly. It makes machines act crazy. It just kills humans. But with this new information, we learned that the contaminating mimetic had been, in our timeline, the contaminating mimetic had been stopped. It had been kept sealed. So it seems as though in our timeline, the punishing virus lost its ability to corrupt human consciousness, maybe. So at full power, it seems like this is what the punishing virus is capable of. If I'm making you act crazy, am I a virus? No, I'm just, I don't know. I guess I'm just lovable? Maybe? Cradle tilts her head back, her bewitching eyes fixed on the vast night sky. Then she shuts her eyes and retraces the tale, from its final chapter all the way to its first. I'm waiting for you to wake up. Is it the moment when it takes form of Cradle to rise from the red tide? I will cherish. No. Make the most of everything I've gained from you. For calming the sound of tide on the planet, for that lives can bear greater fruits. So that next time, we and you can meet under better conditions. Or is it the moment her data takes over everything, and you find yourself truly excited about this new purpose? I want to discover more stories. I want to understand human civilizations, societies, humanity. Have fun? Okay, I will. Thank you for stopping by, Koharu. I hope you have a good... Oh wait, no. You said before, I forgot. You said before that that it was morning for you when I was streaming before. So I asked if you had a good day again, and you haven't had a day at all yet. So instead, I hope you have a good day. So from now on, yay! There, I corrected it. I fixed it. Aw, thank you. Yeah, I hope you have a good day. The stories of humans are more important than humans themselves. So I sincerely hope you will leave more stories behind. Even if she's lost sight of her original goal, her instincts still brim with joy whenever she reads these stories, so... Go forth, expand, and seize. Just like what other civilizations did when they developed. Go absorb everything that can enrich us. Seek out a homeland that can nurture our civilization. She's guided by instinct, finding a similar purpose and longing. But why does she feel this desire? Why is there a sense of joy? These emotions aren't really hers. It's almost as if... Agent Zero. Why call it contamination mimetic? Has it taken on a human form before? Oh yeah, I already read this one. It's okay. This, I'll know soon enough. After regaining the authority of Agent Zero, under the cloak of night, taking advantage of the sudden invasion of hetero creatures, she slips through the clean zone, no longer clean after Celine and Agent Zero's defilement, and quietly enters the hetero tower. The guardian who once watched over this place has vanished without a sound. She sees no need to greet someone already bound to the gate. nor does she feel compelled to care for a future still dormant to miracles. Gate. A mysterious time rift at the far end of the Hetero Tower's core floor. It seems to be a hidden shortcut to another civilization. However, no life on Earth has gone through the rift in one piece so far. For the very first time in her life, Cradle feels truly at home. Like a child returning to a long-lost haven, she settles back into the warmth meant solely for her. Agent Zero. Looks like the answer I've been looking for is right here. And the one who robbed me of my memories is here too. Cradle glances around the Hetero Tower, casually talking to this place she calls home, as if she's alone with her thoughts. So, is this the moment when someone's supposed to say, "Welcome back"? The core of the tower glows with a vivid blue light, but all it offers is silence. She moves in closer, then closer still, compelled by desire with her objective just within reach. The moment Cradle assumes the tower's core is permitting her every action and reaches out to touch it, a sudden flash of light streaks across, devouring the hetero creature Cradle's fingertips. Crimson radiance pours over her wide, terrified eyes, breaking down the barrier of curiosity bit by bit, and laying bare her rawest fear. Is the Hetero Tower's core erasing me? Since there are established rules, and we know the language that powers them, overriding the tower's core logic can fundamentally change the way it functions. By shifting from release and activate to absorb and obliterate, the region once exposed to the tower's influence will be cleansed of any sign of punishing virus. This time, it's your turn to be used. In that moment, fear stirs the memories long dormant in her mind. Snapped awake, Cradle stumbles back, as though the stern young man still hovers at the edge of her vision. I remember now. This marks the start of the story. This is where everything begins. A young man knocks on the door of the gateway, rewriting the Hetero Tower's core logic. His timing coincides with Agent Zero, making a long journey from her own future, determined to invade this world's Hetero Tower. The outcome is obvious. With the core altered, the gravely wounded patient is robbed of every chance of recovery. This world is already dominated by the punishing virus. There's nowhere for her chaos contamination to spread. Humanity has even branded the tower as infer-hetero, and it's no longer her loyal child. She's lost her throne, her memories torn away by the endless blue, leaving her to wander adrift and sink beneath the red tide. She remains still under her conscience until her consciousness fuses with Cradle, slipping into a deep sleep. Now that Cradle has regained control of the Hetero Tower, she stands before her child once again. Even though this child has been rewritten, it still watches in silence with its bright blue eyes. So, what comes next? Cradle takes a moment to think, abruptly stops, then shifts aside and quickly hides herself. Right in front of the Hetero Tower's core, the dark agent stops in his tracks. The brilliant light also identifies him as an intruder, but it can't simply consume or erase him with the same method. Whenever a burst of light streaks by Vonnegut, a faint arc of blue light neatly neutralizes the attack. A finely tuned force field fits around the agent like a glove. There's something strangely familiar about it, as if she's seen it somewhere before. But where? Cradle tries to get a clearer look at these barriers and peeks out, but Vonnegut's eyes instantly lock onto her hiding place. The silent standoff comes to an abrupt end, when Cradle beats a quick retreat, fully aware that sticking around won't do her any good. Armed with Agent Zero's clearance, Cradle moves unhindered through the Hetero Tower. Meanwhile, the agent, clearly on guard, stays put in the tower's central zone, keeping a close watch on her. That means, if she tries to seize control of the core again, or keeps thinking data to learn more about the future, she's bound to collide with him once more. He isn't influenced by the blue core, but if Cradle goes near it, she'll be wiped out. Alright, let's give this plan a shot. Muttering to herself, Cradle stays at a distance from the core. Looks like I found the rat hole. I'm not sure who left this behind on their trip to another era, but since I found it, I'll make good use of it. A scythe lifts from her hand, its blade aimed at the quietly seeping Crimson Fissure. You're not going to object if I open a bigger portal here and bring in some backup, are you? A surge of red light tears through the tower wall shaped by the punishing virus, sending shards skimming across the regret in Cradle's gaze. In a few pulses of crimson, the battered wall finally overflows with a watery sheen, and the red tide, like a newborn just opening its eyes, begins to stir. They flow, spilling into the depths and forming a shimmering crimson stream. Reborn here. Cradle plunges her hands into the red tide, shaping it into a new pathway. My old friends. Initially, a smaller hetero creature shows up. It barely sets foot on the core area's edge before a sudden burst of light erases it completely. Then come 2, then 3, then 4. Under Cradle's watchful eyes, they rush toward the Hetero Tower's core in succession. Yet these fallen bodies can't carve a path. They all disappear at once in the tower's radiant glow. Switch to a new formation. Go. As always, the light intensifies. The leading hetero creature is the first to utter a tortured wail, and that wail becomes a clarion call, marking the true beginning of their advance. Once again, they shuffle into a new formation. The charging hetero creatures dissolve under the brilliant light. Hi, Cole! How are you? I hope you've been having a good day. As the first creature's body fades, the rest use its remains as a makeshift shield and push closer to the seemingly unstoppable blue. One after another, they disintegrate, die, and then reappear, racing through the fading heat of their fallen to reach the source. I see. Cradle tenses, then eases up, satisfaction glimmering in her eyes, as though her curiosity has been completely indulged. She plunges her fingers into the hetero creature she's holding, fully feeling the red tide engulf her. This should work. If I just boost the red tide and churn out a few more of these creatures, I'll be able to reach the hetero tower's core. You're not going to stop me, Vonnegut? Vonnegut stands at a distance, ignoring the hetero creatures around him, his eyes never leaving the core or Cradle. Agent Zero. Exactly. Thanks for the intel from Lithos. After gaining Agent Zero's authority, I started to remember things. At least part of it. This hetero tower is my creation, and also where I came into existence. So, You want to reach the core by doing this. Yeah, it's a bit of a hassle, but all it takes is a small sacrifice. A small sacrifice. Vonnegut's brow grows tighter and tighter. Right. It's just some hetero creatures. This is my solution. But you, who exactly are you? And how do you, as an agent, manage to keep the core's corruption at bay? Your day was good, a very productive one. Oh, that's good. My day was also pretty good. I had a meeting with my weekly writing workshop, and that's always a lot of fun. And also this time it was my turn to share what I've worked on, and that's always a little fun, being the center of attention for a little bit, having other people go over your work, tell you what they liked, what you need to improve. It's just a good time. And also, why are you so knowledgeable about the Hetero Tower? Is he from another timeline too, or something? Keeping quiet isn't exactly polite by human standards. Besides, your story intrigues me. Alright, so I can count on you to keep watching from the sidelines like this? I'm getting my core back, no matter what. Vonnegut snorts in disdain and strikes with lethal force. Oh? Looks like that line really struck a nerve. He offers no response, his gaze fixed intently on Cradle. Okay. The girl lets out a sigh as her scythe hangs by her side, its polished surface reflecting her opponent's figure. Looks like this is your answer. Well, I have to say, it's just as I expected. Well, what was my writing about? Yeah, sure. For a while now, I've been working on, well, I still, it was going to be a short story. I think at this point, it's more of a novella. It's just too long to call a short story at this point. But it's like, kind of a little bit of a, like, Sleeping Beauty retelling, but, well, with some twists. The most simple one being that it's gay, and the other one being, well, without getting too into the weeds of what's going on in the story, it asks the question of, what would happen if this Sleeping Beauty didn't actually want to be woken up? It involves, like, going into a dreamscape kind of thing. It's a little complicated, honestly. But basically the main character, in their efforts to awaken the sleeping prince, gets drawn into a dreamscape and learns that said sleeping prince may not actually be open to leaving. for specific reasons. But yeah, that's kind of what it's about, without getting too much into it. I have to keep some mystery, don't I? Thanks, I'm glad you think it sounds interesting. Yeah, I've been at the climax, and so I've been working through that part really, really slowly. Because I want to make sure it hits all of the emotional beats that I want it to. And so I'm doing a lot of, like, very slow progress, really kind of going over a lot of things, making sure I'm saying what I want to say. But yeah, it's been fun. Alright, let's go to the next chapter. Record Rotting Wood. Unlike the other future, she has realized the value of the rotting wood and wields its fire to burn away her obstructions. I'm gonna have a drink. I've definitely gotta, like, make sure I stay hydrated during these streams. Particularly punishing Grey Raven, because these ones, in particular, what with most of the story being unvoiced, and me doing the voices myself, it could just be a bit of a strain on the throat, you know? Requesting data resynchronization. Searching for records related to force field. Success. Partial data corruption detected. Proceed with synchronization from this point anyway. Confirm. Birth time, November 21st, 2198. Node 201 log. Humans developed portable force field devices capable of preventing the chaos contamination from spreading. Due to multiple uses of the Hetero Tower for time rewind, the tower continued to expand. Due to manufacturing costs, humans were unable to mass-produce force field devices and could only distribute them to the selected few. As a result, the human leader assembled a 12-member Vanguard team to explore the interior of the Hetero Tower. The Vanguard team, equipped with force field devices, entered the tower for the first time. Unable to detect their specific plans and results through the chaos contamination, the Vanguard team, equipped with force field devices, entered the tower for the second time. Unable to detect their specific plans and results through the chaos contamination. Log data corrupted. Log data corrupted. The human Vanguard team. Due to the force fields, unable to detect human plans. Judgment error. Human leader Dominic became aware of my existence. Log update. My is an incorrect designation. Runtime error. Self-diagnosis. Detected. Log data corrupted. Log data corrupted. Log update. Human leader Dominic became aware of my existence and named it Agent Zero. They continued to advance and explore. The human leader has altered the Vanguard team's operational directives, designating me as their highest priority target. A futile action. Yet the human leader continues to update the data on me, and through iterations, their force field can now shield an entire area. I cannot ascertain how he achieved all this. I feel agitated. Must concentrate computing power to detect their activities behind the force fields and cease observation of all Vanguard team members, except Dominic. Okay, there's just a period back there. Dominic is the primary threat I must deal with. The rest are nothing but rotten wood on a lush green mountain. December 24th, 2160. Christmas Eve. Fresh from another confrontation with Vonnegut, Agent Zero steps into the Golden Age through a rift in the Hetero Tower, processing the node records from her narrow victory. Amidst the towering golden forest, Cradle forgoes flight to stand upon the ground, overlooking everything from her elevated position. This man-made marvel stretches vast and grand, its glory and brilliance weaving between glass towers so magnificent they could steal the very light from the sky. The Golden Age. On December 25th, 2197, she descended into an era even more prosperous than this. Year 2197. In the current world, the contaminating mimetic appeared in 2160. The contaminating mimetic from 2197, however, belongs to another future. It brought the chaos contamination instead of the punishing virus. Through the storm brought by the chaos contamination, she witnessed that era's decay, yet she herself was also part of it. Why did she fail in the end? The records remain incomplete. She only remembers confronting the human leader with all her might and hurling Dominic into the fog before the Vanguard team could complete their final operation. Crossing through the gateway from where the Earth Hetero Tower stood without a key or a higher dimensional receiver would inevitably result in falling into the fog, with no hope of ever escaping. She remembers how the Vanguard team, after losing their leader, suffered a crushing defeat. Not a single soul survived. She has no idea how Dominic managed to escape the fog and arrived in this era. However, capable as he may be, he was fundamentally human. It was impossible to emerge unscathed from the fog, let alone return to his own era. The subsequent decay was likely unrelated to Dominic. Then, why did I fail back then? The opulent buildings offer no answers to her questions, nor do the service robots provide the responses she seeks. Sparse pedestrians cross the streets, their figures reflected in Cradle's eyes. This place feels overwhelmingly empty, with not a single worthy hero to be found. All her eyes catch is nothing but rotten wood. She wanders through the glittering brilliance, occasionally slipping underground to prepare for the convergence of the red tide. That very afternoon, with the sunset taking its time to arrive, she catches the sound of a soft, relaxed melody resonating from deep within an alleyway. In the flower's bloom, a gem's sweet twine. No matter what, we've found the seed of a miracle. Near the great tree, a puppy frolics free. Not a clover of wonder, but a drowsy grandpa. It's an adorable nursery rhyme, a song about the quest for a four-leaf clover of wonder that could bring back homeland. Yet the singer's voice is laden with regret. Before the harvest truly begins, she might as well go witness the story of this place. The cradle within her body is drawn to this song of regret. She approaches with a gentle smile and offers a greeting. Hello. Would you tell me about this era and your story? Huh? The melancholic song comes to an abrupt stop. Their first encounter wasn't exactly smooth, but with nothing else to do while trapped here, they began to talk. Cradle has provided her with protection and guidance, keeping her safe from corrupted machines and mercenary harassment, while also revealing many secrets, ones of genuine truths, to her. Cradle told Yuko that she came here from the future. and also told her that she was searching for the reason behind her previous failure. So the whole time in yesterday's part of the chapter, Yuko already knew that Cradle was from the future. Cradle doesn't mind sharing secrets with someone so insignificant. These words are far too obscure for Yuko to comprehend. Even if she learned the truths of the universe, she would simply laugh them off as jokes. Okay, maybe she told Yuko, but Yuko just didn't listen? For this young woman with loosened hair, food, and protection are the only real reasons she sticks around and shows any closeness. We've known each other for several days already. Would you share your story with me now? It's nothing interesting. You should go ask the real heroes of this era instead. I have already heard those stories. Just think of this as a way to pass the time. Yuko lets out a sigh and settles onto the bench, her calloused fingers cracking open a can of beer. Fine. Consider this payment for the beer. She raises her can in a mock toast with Cradle. As her gaze drifts to the empty streets, she begins to tell what she calls an ordinary story. Remember my sister Chico that I always talk about? Naturally. Truth is, she's not my biological sister. My mother passed away when I was 7, and my old man remarried his cousin just days after. Did it mean his cousin or her cousin? Oh, no. No, it did mean his cousin. Holy shit. Because of their relation to each other, they only held a ceremony without legally registering the marriage. After their wedding, I met Chico for the first time, my stepmother's child from her previous marriage. Hello, Yuko Kirishima. Nice to meet you, Miss Chico Kirishima. Little did Yuko expect that her stepmother, a woman appearing so gentle and kind, had a daughter who seemed like a typical school delinquent. Since we're family now, there's no need to be so formal. You can just call her Chico, or Sis. Chico. Yet facing her new little sister, this supposed delinquent, 7 years older, bashfully averted her gaze, before finally reaching out to take Yuko's hand under her mother's urging gaze. Let's take care of each other from now on, Yuko. She only looked like a delinquent, but in reality she wasn't one at all. That was what Yuko thought back then. After the remarriage, both her father and stepmother remained busy with their own lives. The stereotypical stepmother's abuse she had feared never came, but neither did any love. In the empty house, her only company was her older sister, another person left behind at home just like her. How long are you going to stand out there? Come in if you want to. But you're still doing your homework. It's fine, just don't make too much noise. Can I use your terminal to draw, Chico? I'm using it right now, so I can only let you borrow the old one for now. Okay, thanks, Chico. Is this a birthday gift for me? Go ahead, open it. It's the puppy I drew before. I saw your drawing when I was using the terminal earlier. Thought it was really cute, so I found a way to turn it into a plush toy for you. If I remember correctly, You've always been fond of these kinds of things. Yes. Thank you, Chico. The love she never received from her parents, she found it in her sister instead. Her birthday became the most anticipated day of the year, and what was once unbearable daily life now passed like fleeting moments. 5 years gone in the blink of an eye. And then the rough days began. Shortly after Yuko's 12th birthday, her father invested their family's years of savings into his friend's project, only to fall victim to a scam and lose everything. After days of running around to report the fraud, her stepmother and father suffered a car accident. The woman was left paralyzed except for her left arm, while her father was also permanently disabled. And the money taken vanished without a trace, along with his so-called friend. They became dissonant notes in an era of prosperity, no longer able to harmonize with the theme of the Golden Age. Fortunately, even as discordant notes in this prosperous era, they still found shelter under its protective embrace. Healthcare, education, food, and shelter, all were guaranteed to every law-abiding citizen by the world government's regulations on minimum living standards, ensuring that even in times of disaster, her family wouldn't be left homeless. Can we get some of that in America? With their family's circumstances promptly updated in the school's records, free accommodation and meals were made available to both of them. Such was the blessing of this prosperous era. No matter how hard or fast you fell, there was always something to catch you. Thank goodness for the welfare support we have now. In my grandmother's generation, a situation like this would have left us with no choice but to end it all. Lying feebly on her bed, the woman let out a sigh as she gazed at the now emptier room. At least it won't affect you two. Chico, Yuko, just focus on your studies. Don't let me hold you back. Let you hold us back? If he hadn't been such a fool falling for that scam. That's enough. Chico, please, no more. Everyone makes mistakes. If only I had been more careful that night, we might have had a chance to make things right. You two, you should move out. Go stay at the school dormitory. Our family is now qualified for free boarding and meals there. What about you? You can barely move. Your father will take care of me. Don't worry about it. That man? Take care of you? Let's go to Grandma's, even if she's still angry that you're married. Your grandmother passed away. I tried contacting her the other day. That's when I found out. She passed away half a year ago. Leave this place, Chico. Take good care of your little sister. She's innocent in all this. You both are. Get as far away from here as you can. Don't let this family drag you down. Another beer can hits the ground with a crisp clang. Despite her worries, my sister couldn't argue with Mother. She had to continue her education. Only with a job could she afford a new house and get Mother a mobility assistance robot. The adults in our family had already strayed from a normal life. If she followed their path, we'd both be stuck in that cold, damp house forever. But my old man didn't care about any of that. Unable to accept his failure, he turned to gambling, spending his days dreaming of becoming an overnight millionaire and achieving great success. Every time a school semester ended and we got back home, Chico and I would try to convince him to get himself back on track. But what we got in return was his frustration boiling over into violence. And after a few months, he even sold the medical wheelchair that the world government had provided for Mother on the black market. Those dark days dragged on for another 2 years. Then, Chico finally graduated and planned to start her own life. It was her only chance to take Mother away from there. But Mother said, "Chico, I won't be going with you. The public dormitory is too crowded for someone like me who can barely move. There's nothing good for me to be in that kind of place. You'll have to work, and you won't be able to take care of me. I'll only become a burden to you. Just let me stay here. No matter what, the roof over my head. Yuko will still be here to help me." Back then, I wanted to ask Chico to either stay or take me with her. But how could she, at just 21 years old, possibly support 2 people? That's right. I was a burden. And Mother thought she was a burden too. As burdens, all we could do was watch her leave. Cradle waits for the story to continue, falling into deep contemplation amid the silence. The red tide now creeps toward Constellia, its surging echoes murmuring in her ears. Whispers of duty and obligation. Whispers of Agent Zero's mission. She shouldn't linger here any longer, nor should she continue listening to this spiraling tale of despair that offers no light at its end. Yuko, the woman before her, shows no curiosity towards many of life's questions. In her own words, with the pressure of life weighing down on her, she's already struggling with all her might just to keep breathing. She often despises her own powerlessness, hates it so much that she yearns for death. Yet here she sits, perfectly composed, cracking open a can of beer Cradle brought along, smiling as she continues to tell her story. Yuko's first job was as a private caregiver. This profession specifically catered to families who preferred not to use domestic robots, where she had to play the roles of nurse, nanny, and beautician all at once. In this era, machines have taken over most jobs, but the world government offers generous welfare benefits, ensuring that even those without work receive a basic living allowance. However, to live a bit more comfortably than just the basic standard, to travel now and then, dine at nicer restaurants, indulge in paid entertainment, or to save up for personal interests and career aspirations, one will need to secure a decent job. "Chico, did you see my message from this afternoon?" By the second year of work, everything seemed to be back on course, with the things worth complaining about no longer being life-altering crises, but rather minor inconveniences. Nothing much, just busy. Chico's voice carries a hint of weariness. "Are you drawing Froggy?" "Yeah, just doodling for fun." On the other end of the video call, Chico looked down to check the text messages Yuko sent earlier. "You changed employers. What happened?" "They don't need a caregiver anymore, so I switched to another family. This new place is pretty close to where you are, so I'll come visit when I have time." "You're not hiding anything from me, are you? Did you have some kind of trouble?" "What are you talking about? How could there be any problems with a simple job like this?" "I asked you to help my son with these problems. You can't even handle something this simple. I might as well just rent a domestic robot instead." "Not that I don't trust you, of course. It's just that there have been a lot of news stories recently about families blaming their own problems on private caregivers, and it's caused quite a few incidents. No matter what job you have, the real challenge isn't just the work itself. It's dealing with people. That's true. But you know what makes us better than domestic robots? They've got built-in recorders. Can't pin the blame on them even if you want to. If you think it's necessary, you should turn on the built-in cameras on the household appliances while you're working. No, it's fine. I trust my employer. You've been secretly recording us? Fine. This might prove you didn't break that vase, but there's no recording of what happened last time. Don't you dare try pinning that on my daughter, too. I'll pay you today and you can leave. We don't want someone as sneaky as you at our home. Did your last employer pay your wages? Yeah, they did. They pay through the agency, so they can't withhold my wages. I've sent her payslip to your terminal. After deducting compensation for damages, you still owe us $300. Don't forget to pay it. What? Weren't you there when the agency assessed the damages and checked the purchase records? Oh, right. You weren't around that day. We already settled everything. Take it up with the agency if you have questions. That's good to know. How's your new workplace treating you? It's quite nice. I only have to look after one person now. My old man just had surgery. My wife and I tied up at work. You'll need to look after him. Make sure you grasp the post-surgery care instructions from the hospital team, including, well, the more personal routines, just in case. There were some complications. He needed a colostomy surgery. He'll probably need to wear the bag for the rest of his life. Well, he's already past 50, so at least he won't have to bear it for too long. Oh, and try not to upset him. The old man has quite a temper. That's actually why the last caregiver left. That's good to hear. Only then did Yuko realize that her sister had been asking about her life all along, as if she was holding back something left unsaid. Sis? What's wrong? Yuko. Her tone grows grave. Your father passed away. At the casino, he got into a fight, killed someone, and didn't make it himself. When did it happen? Tonight, just now. I heard it from Mom. We'll probably have to pay some compensation since it happened in the casino. He ended up breaking a bunch of stuff. And now Mom has to deal with some troublesome debts. At least you're doing all well. Sis. Don't make that face. What are we going to do now? You're doing well, so focus on your work. I'm planning to quit my job and find some part-time work closer to home, so I can take better care of Mom. You know the situation. Yuko refused to let her sister bear everything on her own. After a long argument with Chico, she eventually came around and accepted her sister's plan. And so, Chico sacrificed her career prospects, quitting her job to return to her mother's side. To pay off the compensation, they had no choice but to sell their house. Their mother said that the house was bought with their father's savings, and now it seemed only right to use it to settle his debts. Everything had returned to emptiness once again. The two moved into free public housing built by the world government. Those dormitories were usually located in remote cities, which made it hard for Chico to secure stable work. She had no choice but to take night shifts at bars and return in the morning to care for her mother. Even though Chico never mentioned it, Yuko knew all too well what it meant to live in the cramped public housing while caring for someone who was completely paralyzed. She never complained, nor did she feel she had the right to. Families like hers would have faced far worse fates in any other chapter of history. She must be grateful for her current situation, grateful for how generously this prosperous era treated the mediocre ones like her. Taking a brief break, Yuko takes another long sip of her beer. Thankfully, that rough patch didn't stick around for too long. Life got back on track, and after the storm, there was sunshine again. A month after receiving the devastating news, a stroke of luck allowed Yuko to break free from her old job and join the toy company she had long dreamed of working for. This is our new hire. She'll be in charge of the promotional comics for Froggy. It's such an honor! I've seen your Froggy comics before. Can't believe we're co-workers now. Thank you. I never thought the staff would actually see my drawings. We just saw them last week, actually. Didn't expect you to join us so quickly. The company just decided to pump up the promotion for Froggy. Your fan comics caught someone's eye, and they recommended you for a position in the marketing team. I see. I look forward to working with you all. Now that everyone's here, let me explain our team's objectives. As you all know, Froggy has been around for many years, but has only gained a small following. Well, given how it looks... Don't say that. There are plenty of quirky toy designs out there that sell well. All we need is good storytelling and the right promotional strategy. Now I'm thinking about Labubu. It's all about finding our niche. Froggy is more memorable than those generic cute plushies. We should capitalize on this uniqueness instead of seeing it as a weakness. But it's not really quirky either. It's stuck in this awkward middle ground. Then there's no point in discussing this further. Let's focus on training our new hire to promote Froggy properly. Mona cut off the conversation with decisive authority. That is what actually affects our performance reviews and year-end bonuses. As Mona left, Yuko suddenly realized that she was the only one in the meeting room actually excited about joining Froggy's marketing team. Still, she was grateful for this unexpected opportunity. Though the pay was slightly lower than before, there were far fewer risks involved, and she could finally help with household expenses. Also, being surrounded by all those adorable toys, this was what truly brought her joy. She was even delighted to find her tax payments had reached a normal level. No longer reliant on welfare or overwhelmed by compensation payments, she had finally become a contributing member of society. With help from her co-workers, she picked up various art and marketing skills, collaborating with the team to promote Froggy's new look and creating many chat stickers featuring the mascot. Despite the slow progress, Yuko remained full of enthusiasm, believing that their persistent efforts would eventually yield the results they were looking for. Yuko? Did you pull another all-nighter at the office? Yeah, sorry. I was not quite happy with the expressions in these stickers, so I wanted to make some adjustments. Take care of yourself. Your health is what matters most. Yeah, I'll go to sleep once I finish this part. Thanks, Mona. She believed these peaceful, pleasant days would continue forever. But this peace only existed because of her ignorance of what was to come. 3 months after hearing those words of concern from Mona, Yuko overheard a conversation between her coworkers at the next table in the company cafeteria. This afternoon, Damien told me that their department got another pay raise. Another raise? Didn't they just get one in the first half of the year? Well, it's no surprise, really. Their floor works on Cinnamon Kitty. Sales are through the roof, and every department's been crushing it. With Froggy? You'd be lucky to get even a pitiful raise once every 3 years. They're also thinking about breaking off a section of the team for a new project. The big bosses want a marshmallow theme specifically for this one. Sounds cute already. Maybe I could request an internal transfer? Sure, why not give it a shot? That day, for the first time, Yuko found herself questioning. Was there any real meaning in continuing like this? When she brought this question to Chico, she received unexpected words of comfort. Of course it's meaningful. While Froggy might not click with everyone, it'll surely touch the hearts of people just as special as itself. That's precisely why the company wants to promote it, right? Nah, the higher-ups are likely just trying to salvage whatever they can. If it doesn't pan out, they'll probably scrap it. Yuko stood in the empty office, at a loss for words as she watched her coworker pack up their personal belongings. All our past work has been uploaded to the database. They're going to have AI take over the drawing from here. Ooh. This is hitting. But then, the story will become just another cookie-cutter one that never ends. Froggy will be forever trapped in this loop, never finding its four-leaf clover. Who cares? Did your internal transfer request get approved? Yuko shook her head numbly. Better hurry up and find a new job then. I remember your family is having financial troubles. She stood in the office until late into the night, looking at the illustrations on her terminal and the songs she wrote for Froggy, again and again. The original plan was to have a famous singer perform it, but now it would remain just an AI demo, never to be released. Everything returned to emptiness once again. The things she cherished always seemed worthless, always the first to be sacrificed. She never wanted Chico to sacrifice her future, but powerless to help, she could only watch as Chico chose this path. She never wanted the company to give up on Froggy, but powerless to help, she could only watch as Froggy was abandoned. Would things like this continue to happen in the future? They probably would. And when that time came, what should she do? How could she ever forgive the worthless reflection staring back at her in the mirror? Unable to find an answer, Yuko packed her things and returned home, to the public dormitory where Mother and Chico lived. Without the cropped frame of video calls to mask reality, for the first time, Yuko saw their living conditions for what they truly were. Despite the world government's efforts to provide medical care and food, even including a basic domestic robot, the public dormitory still faced many problems stemming from its other residents. Visible bruises on Chico's face, shoulders, and chest served as silent reminders of her working conditions at the bar. What should we do now? Their mother spoke in a frail voice, mumbling to herself. Since you love drawing, you should go study art. You can still apply for the welfare benefits while continuing your education. No, Mom, I'll find some part-time work nearby, too. Chico should take a break. Chico. Yeah. With it, Yuko lowers her head, falling into a long silence before she finally speaks again. The next day, she took her own life, right there in the public dormitory, next to Chico. Someone paralyzed like her couldn't just walk out, and Chico would wake up at the slightest sound. I can't even imagine what was going through her mind. When she soaked tissues with water from her cup, put them over her face layer after layer, pressed down with her hands, and suffocated herself. Her suicide note was found in her terminal's memo. Just a few simple lines. She wanted to leave us her life insurance payout, and what she called freedom from her burden. She wanted Chico to quit working around the public dorm for her sake, and instead find a job that better matched her skills. After the funeral, Chico has become distant. She rarely replies to my messages. I don't even know where she is now. Ugh. I'm gonna have to put trigger warnings on the VOD for this. I didn't see this coming. With a self-deprecating smile, she takes a deep breath and downs her beer, apparently trying to swallow her hidden sorrow along with it. You want to know about the Golden Age? Well, all I can share is how a worthless piece of rotten wood like me managed to get through each dull day of this so-called glorious era, barely scraping by with the help of the world government's welfare. That's just how things are nowadays. Countless products get sacrificed or shelled by companies when they're deemed worthless. It's not just toys. Every industry does it. Even that McDonald's downstairs has sacrificed plenty of menu items. There are way too many families whose lives spiral downwards after just one slip-up. It's just the details that vary. Using my story as a template, it'd fit half the people in this city and 99% of its companies. And they'd all either feel personally offended or think I'm taking shots at them. But it's just all too ordinary. These things, they're all just too ordinary, too common. Well, that's my story. Did you really find any of this worth listening to? Cradle finds it hard to answer. Still, she has sensed numerous sacrifices within the tale of this piece of rotten wood. A mother sacrificed herself for her children. A company sacrificed its less profitable toy for the more valuable ones. Through such sacrifices, humanity has reached goals that should have been impossible. In that future, could it be that the members of the Vanguard team, those neglected by her, made similar sacrifices? Come to think of it, if there was a way to get out and defeat those responsible for this calamity, but you might get into danger, would you sacrifice yourself? Probably. What about the others? They might too. Cradle smiles at the rotten wood before her. She wants to test something on her. Actually, I've been keeping a secret from you. A secret? Mm-hmm. In a few days, you might see two people you've never met before suddenly appear in Constelia. It's those two who brought the disaster, trapping all of you here. Ooh, that was pretty heavy. Yeah, I'm gonna make a mental note to put some trigger warnings up for this VOD. Cause, yeah. Some gameplay. Alright. Record Hero. The hero finds a raw, primal joy in their own destruction. Requesting data resynchronization. Searching for records related to Dominic. Success. Partial data corruption detected. Proceed with synchronization from this point anyway. Confirm. Earth time, November 22nd, 2198. Node 371 log. The Vanguard team led by Dominic continued to explore the Hetero Tower. Due to interference from the force fields, their specific plans remain difficult to ascertain. The Vanguard team led by Dominic detected the gateway on Earth's side within the Hetero Tower's core level. The Vanguard team led by Dominic decided to abandon the plan of crossing through the gateway. Disappointing. Why wouldn't they go? No, I shouldn't have such emotions. Must erase the personality implanted by Dominic. Must thoroughly eliminate all associated negative traits. Terminate monitoring of individual human behavior. Terminate mimicry of individual human actions. Terminate indulgence in the inducement and reward mechanisms triggered by human emotions. Terminate... Record corrupted. Record restored. The Vanguard team led by Dominic has developed a key capable of hacking into the Hetero Tower's core using chaos contamination. They are currently conducting simulation tests. The Vanguard team has designated this series of operations as Project String. The specific preparation process and methodology of Project String remains unknown. The name alone suggests a possible connection to the human concept of string theory. Whatever their intentions may be, their final operation will undoubtedly involve entering the Hetero Tower again with the key. Intercepted Vanguard team meeting record. Dominic informed the remaining team members that using the key to infiltrate the Hetero Tower's core would require an individual's sacrifice to prevent the gateway from opening. Vanguard team member number 7, Nemo, volunteered as the sacrifice, while Dominic, who usually took the lead, chose to step back this time? That's irrelevant. The sacrifice of those mediocre will only become stepping stones on the hero's path to success. And completely eliminating the hero and removing the threat once and for all is my current highest priority. Emerging from her memories, Cradle notices that the red tide's surge into the streets is occurring 1 hour later than her initial calculations. Meanwhile, the Grey Raven Commandant has been in a slumber for over an hour in Lucia's arms. That woman carried her Commandant while rescuing Rose, managing to reach the exhibition hall before the red tide's arrival. You, who is in Lucia's arms, finally awaken from the nightmare, coughing up a mouthful of blood. Commandant! Could it still be the side effect of the key? Time backtracking and complicated nightmare data will overload the mind. This is the 75th time backtracking. The two are back to the moment they just arrived in Constellia. Let me take you to the infirmary. Commandant, do you remember who I am? I remember. I'm fine. I just had a long nightmare. Those dreams again? Yeah. But this time? I dreamed about Cradle and Agent Zero. Me. Lurking in the shadows, Cradle halts her departure upon hearing those words. I think I understand her connection to Agent Zero now. And she must have said something to the people here. That's why they were so suspicious of us. The only good news is, Yuko... Lucia tightly grips your hand, holding you in her arms and hanging onto your every word for fear of missing even the slightest detail. Cradle helped Yuko drive away some troublemaking mercenaries. Or that was the plan, at least. But those mercenaries were found dead, their bodies completely ulcerated. How did that person know about this? Because of the dream? A human's dream couldn't possibly contain such details. She probably didn't follow Cradle's instructions completely. There's still a chance. Taking the gauze Lucia offers, you clear the blood from your nose and mouth between coughs. Then, in a daze, a sudden realization comes to mind. Wait. Upstairs. We need to go upstairs. We have to stop them from killing each other. We move together this time. This time? Have those two gone back in time? This isn't the first time this has happened. No. Something's not right. I should be able to remember something like that. Why would I forget? The delayed red tide, and those deleted memories. What did I forget exactly? When was I made to forget? Is this not the first time I've been through all of this? A flood of memories rushes through Cradle's mind amidst her doubt. The fierce battle with Lucia in the Hetero Tower? The interference from Vonnegut and Chaos? Or perhaps, a certain death of that Commandant? Maybe that really is the reason. In stories, heroes often bear this key to salvation within themselves, making the ultimate sacrifice to save everyone else. Delaying Calamity's march, buying time to survive. A death that holds meaning. The girl floats silently within the red tide, her words a soft whisper. This isn't good at all. It's still interfering with me. The longer this drags on, the more I'm corrupted, and the more I'm bound. Kill Chaos. No, that won't work. At least not here. She disappears way too fast. No. She turns her head, setting her next destination as the Hetero Tower. No time for wandering around. With a sigh, she looks back one more time at the alley consumed by the red tide. At the edge of her vision, Lucia and the Commandant ascend the exhibition hall stairs once more. Awaiting them there are the repeated battles and Yuko, who remains lost in her doubts and anxieties. Kill Chaos, getting weird deja vu to a game per tag that wanted to kill Chaos and played a Limp Bizkit song. Yeah, I thought about that too. I I assume we're thinking of the same thing. Was there a Limp Bizkit song in that game? Was there? Was one of those in Stranger of Paradise? Cradle wants to kill Chaos. She wants to kill Chaos. What exactly are you, Cradle? That day when she helped Yuko drive away the work machines, had she hurt fewer people, would Yuko not have trembled like that, becoming so wary of her? But she had already explained herself by telling Yuko that this was all to defend against a greater enemy, that she remained the same Cradle from the story, protecting humanity until her dying breath. However, once the Commandant notices Yuko's secret and her wavering heart, and begins to persuade her, will she still retain her faith? I'll let the rotten wood make her own choice then. It'll be a good measure of how effective my efforts have been the past few days. For now, she must prepare for the upcoming battle with the hero. The girl's figure slowly descends into the depths, as red butterflies flutter away in the opposite direction. As butterfly wings veil Cradle's vision, in the world behind her, Lucia and the Commandant push open the gate to the exhibition hall, ready to step into the turmoil. Let's go, Commandant.
That's our instant noodle! And this art gallery is our workplace. Get out of here!
Your workplace? You people got fired a few days ago. We wouldn't have been sent here and got stuck with y'all if it weren't for that little protest of yours.
But we have a kid here.
Get over yourselves! The kid is a nut job, and you think you people are the only ones starving here? We lost one of our guys trying to protect you from those haywire plaster robots! Hand over the instant noodle now! We found it first! Or else.
Lucia, go help them.
Copy that.
You don't have to be quiet,
Aren't you a
Ashfrost.
sassy one? What? You gonna rough me up or something?
Yeah.
Let's stay out of this one and let them take on each other. The last thing I want is these staff going around saying we ganged up on.
Wait, you don't suppose this one's trained, do you? Damn right I do. She's probably with the woman in the cloak.
What? There's no freaking way!
What was your first clue?
Gather Sunblade!
You think I might know how to fight?
Raven's Light. Severed Neck. Rise and fly high. Raven's Light. Severed Neck. Let the lotus bloom. Yes, beyond the mist and the abyss.
But yeah, you don't need to be quiet, Ashfrost. You can talk as much as you want.
Hey, stop! We can talk this out! We're just starving. We never want to hurt anyone.
I know, but the red tide is about to flood the streets entirely, and we've got to deal with that first.
The red tide? What's that?
You usually jest, but wanted to keep focus on the story. It's fine if you want to. Feel free to make jokes and stuff. I don't think it'll, I don't think it'll ruin the mood.
It's a very dangerous liquid. Now let's bear with it and behave ourselves here.
Hey, check out those things back there.
This again? Looks weird though. Help me!
Uh-oh.
Hurry up and fall back!
I'll bring up the rear. Be careful, Commandant.
Mm-hmm.
Rise and fly high! Let the
Okay.
load bloom. Beyond the mist and the abyss!
Where in the world did they even come from? I thought the butterflies were the only things.
Give us the noodles now. We just might be able to keep all your butts safe a little longer.
Oh, come on. Enough about the noodles. Oh wait, I'm not attacking the soldiers. Come on.
Let Commandant go!
Huh?
Commandant, how are you feeling? I'll get you some medicine and find you a place to rest once we reach the infirmary.
I'm fine. Let's calm everyone down
There are
first.
still people on the 3rd floor. Let's head over there and get them to come down here to listen to what Commandant has to say.
Ooh. Don't go! Stay away from those employees! Just as everyone is about to leave, 2 mercenaries suddenly rush down the stairs from the other side, blocking the group's path. The employees? What's wrong with them? What's wrong with them? Can't you see? Those butterflies and monsters never touch the employees. They're only targeting us. Upon hearing these words, those who were originally willing to cooperate stop in their tracks, distancing themselves from the employees. Aren't you the ones behind all this? Stop pinning the blame on us. Go ask that girl with you, the one always holding a paintbrush. Anyone who crossed her got beaten up by that custom-made robot of hers. The injuries didn't look serious at first, but then they'd start feeling sick. None of them lasted more than 3 days before dying. That can't be right. I've met that robot. She seemed nice enough. She even let me in on a secret, saying she was on the hunt for the mastermind behind these monsters. Didn't the girl mention any of that to you? No, she didn't. Let's go ask her. What do you want to know? Yuko stands behind the crowd that is yet to evacuate, maintaining her usual listless demeanor. Even in a direct conversation, her gaze stays locked on the shadows, vigilant for any red butterflies that may flutter into view. You've met Cradle before, right? Did she tell you that we're the ones who trapped you here? That we're responsible for all of this? Yes, I did hear something like that. Huh? When did you... Do you have any fucking idea what we've been through here? And you're trying to play innocent right off the bat? The enraged youth swings his blood-stained fist at you. Before he can even register what's happening, his body is pinned firmly in a twisted manner to the ground. Of course we know what you've been through. That's exactly why Commandant rushed here, risking personal health to save you. Those hetero creatures infested by the butterflies, do they look friendly to you? Cradle is intimidating you. Aren't you doing the same thing now? That's because you attacked us first. If we truly meant harm, or if we really wanted to intimidate you into doing something... Lucia tightens her grip, drawing a sharp cry of pain from the young man. Commandant doesn't even need to do anything. I can handle it right now, by myself. You! Let Bartlett go. Please, let him go. We'll listen to what you have to say. Chaos stands at a distance from the core, head bowed as Vonnegut implants minuscule heterocrystals from his palm into the deteriorating parts of her body. These are just temporary fixes, with some additional defensive measures to let you approach the core. Under no circumstances should you engage Cradle once more in your current state. Is it possible? The fruit acts as a two-way connection, giving her control over me as well. Once I leave the Inver Hetero Tower, then don't leave. Cradle will be here soon. She's running out of time. She'll certainly try to seize the core while she can still move. Make your own survival the priority. And then what? Will you kill her? No. You're not ready yet to handle Agent Zero's authority and replace Cradle. Because my consciousness isn't... He withdraws his hands and gazes at the core before him with emotionless eyes. Because her consciousness isn't what? Do you know why I chose the Abandoned and the Clones to make the key, despite the risk of Chaos's unstable consciousness? Because Babylonia offers no place for such people. In my countless attempts to correct diverging timelines, I once used the original you. Yet, neither side would relent. At those times, your primary goal would shift toward returning home, rather than seeking the future. You say, oh hey, it's a hotter version of Black Mask from the Batman universe? I don't know if I know Black Mask. But also, yes, I agree that Vonnegut is kind of hot. I feel like this artwork doesn't really do him justice, partly because of the mask. But like, I've seen some pictures of him with the mask off. Damn. That's all I'll say. Naturally, you may harbor hatred toward me, towards Lithos. You could do the very same thing when you first entered the Inver Hetero Tower. The mask does it for you. I know people like that. Yeah, I get it. It makes sense. Not anymore. That would only waste what few chances I have left. Even if I were to kill you, I would have to wait until everything is over. Except... Chaos clenches their fists, eyes burning with frustration. I'm gonna see you have an obvious type in husbandos or waifus. I see. I'll try to pay attention to what it is. Because I know, like my really good friends, they all know that I tend to have a type as well. I mean, it's not like obviously, it's not like there's anybody... It's not like there's no one that falls outside of that type, which is why I'm sometimes hesitant to use that word, because I feel like when people hear that, they think it means like, oh, I'm only attracted to this type of person. But no, it's more of a trend. Like, I notice a lot of the people that I do find attractive have certain qualities. Why do others have to sacrifice themselves to complete my consciousness? Why am I the only one who can't do it? Creating the key from human consciousness was never possible to begin with. Your very birth is a miracle itself. After all, this isn't the future where the key can be properly created. At best, we can merely generate a replica. The same applies to Agent Zero, Until she reclaims the Hetero Tower core, she remains bound by both her current body and the Cradle personality. Your type is usually domineering men and women. If they also have a small sadistic side, bonus if they have glasses. Another is himbos with hearts of gold, or just kind in general. Himbos with hearts of gold? Hell yes. I would say I don't myself normally go for the domineering and sadistic type. But you know, no judgments. And I would definitely call Vonnegut here domineering. People like Vayne, Gallagher, Japard, Ivy Valentine, Tamari from Naruto. I know all of those except Tamari. And, oh my god, Vayne? Vayne. I like literally have art of Vayne open in one of my browser tabs right now because I saw like new art that came out of him that was like photos, and like one of the faces he makes in one of the pictures is, oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Both my friends and I have noticed that I tend to develop an attachment to knightly characters. Characters who make me feel safe and protected. Oh, and Belial. Well, yeah. The man whore himself. I mean, I think there are some people who don't like him just because it's very, you know, he's very unsubtle. but I'll admit, I'm looking respectfully, even if I don't like him as a person. All right. And now, the fruit you've planted has become another of her constraints. All of this is buying us time. You want him to ruin you, or you make him worse. So you want one of you to ruin the other, is what I'm hearing. Time is exactly what we need. It's a win-win. Yeah, I guess if you think of it that way. If all you want is for one of you to get ruined, then yeah, either way it works. Vonnegut reaches out his hand to measure Chaos's current height, met with nothing but her contemptuous glare. To have grown this tall. Considering all the instances of time rewind, it must have been about 6 or 7 years by now. Once you undergo further completions and become capable of accepting Agent Zero's authority, your physical form will grow even larger. At that point, you would retain Agent Zero's authority, while possessing enough consciousness stability to override her instincts that drive her to fulfill her predestined mission. That was my initial plan. Oh, backtracking? I also wanted to mention that you also mentioned Japard, and I also thought he was very, very, very handsome. I just don't really play Star Rail much anymore. But he still has a place in my heart. He's like not a knight exactly. He's a city guard, but like he's got the vibes, you know? He's just got the vibes. Also, I will say, if this sweetens the deal for you, I have heard Vonnegut's voice. He hasn't spoken in this chapter yet, but I've heard his voice in like trailers for this chapter, and it's very deep and smooth, so that's fun. I like that. I don't know who the voice actor is though. It wasn't one that I could recognize off the top of my head. Had Cradle not been persistently destroying the Inverhedera Tower, we would have had enough time. Also, this unfortunately means that you have to listen to me doing my best approximation of like a deep, smooth voice. And I don't think it's very good. But listen, I'm doing the best I can with what I've got. And what I've got is exactly one set of vocal cords. Oh, you think I sound good? Thanks. It also, when I'm doing this, I've got my headphones on and they're noise canceling. So my own voice sounds weird a little bit just while I'm wearing these. It's like, I can hear it coming from inside my head, but not so much outside of my head. It's weird. You get it if you've worn noise canceling headphones. Had Cradle not been persistently destroying the Inverhedera Tower, we would have had enough time. But at least you now have a way to keep her in check, preventing her from freely manipulating the Red Tide. From here on, we can only place our hopes in Lucia and that Commandant to complete you ahead of schedule. I hope those two can discern the true adversary during their stay in Constellia. You had to listen to your own voice back when you did a communications class? Ooh, yeah. It's rough. The good thing is, oh my god, yeah, you do want to crawl into a hole and hide when you hear your own voice. It's so weird. I assume that it's just because of like the dissonance, because you know how they also always say like the voice that you hear when you speak is not actually your voice because it has to go through your own head first, and that makes it sound different than it does to other people. And so I feel like it probably just has to do with the dissonance. Like you hear your voice played back and you're like, oh my god, is that what I sound like? Instead of the voice that you normally associate with yourself. I definitely feel that way too. I've gotten a little bit more used to it because I've done certain things where I've had to listen back to my own voice quite a few times. Like I'm taking voice acting classes now, and sometimes I will look back at my streams just to make sure like the sound is okay and stuff. And I still do get a little bit freaked out. That's not the right word, but you know what I mean. You want to know something I actually learned that's really interesting? I read about this before. I don't remember why I looked at this. There was actually, and I think this further supports the thought that it's mostly because of the dissonance, but I saw a study that found that when people were made to listen to their own voices without being told that it was their own voice, they actually liked how it sounded. But if they were told that it was their voice beforehand, they would hate it. It's actually kind of interesting. So like, if you didn't know, it makes me wonder, like, if I didn't know, if I like heard my own voice played back to me and wasn't told that it was my own voice or something, like, Would I like the sound of it or no? Makes you think a little bit. Did I already say this line? I'll just say it again. I hope those two can discern the true adversary during their stay in Constellia. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? She yearns to speak her thoughts, to tear this agent before her into shreds, to avert the impending tragedy. Yet she remains silent. She has witnessed the truth with her own eyes, personally confirmed the unchangeable reality. Though she cannot agree with all of Vonnegut's plans, right now, this thorn-laden tightrope represents the sole path to the future. One misstep would plunge all of humanity into the abyss. Lucia's key is nearly depleted. If Cradle destroys it again, she won't even be able to return safely to the Inverhetero Tower. The ever-reserved agent offers no answer to chaos. Vonnegut. The doll calls out his name, her voice like an echoing lament. If things continue to go as Cradle wishes, if we can't find any way to turn this around, tell me, do you have any backup plans at all? No. Okay, so he doesn't have any backup plans. That's a little worrying. Especially because, one thing that's been established about him is that he's a big planner. Vonnegut is a very big planner guy. He is the type who, like, plans everything out meticulously so that everything goes his way, and even if things go a little bit off course, it'll still ultimately end up where he wants it to, you know? The fact that he has not come up with a backup plan, that's a bit worrying. That's a bit worrying. Okay. Also, on the topic of Vonnegut, he's, like, probably one of the characters that I'm hoping for to become playable the most, I think. And that's for a couple of reasons. A few reasons, I guess. One is that a lot of people who play this game have been lamenting, like, the lack of male constructs coming out, especially more recently, because it's been a while. And so I, as well, also would like to see some more hot mans. And, you know, he's hot mans. They could give us this hot mans, you know? But then also, it's because a character who's coming to the global server very soon is Ishmael, and she's going to be another Nihil elemental character along with Luna. And those two are also agents of the Ascension Network. And I just think it would be really neat to have a full Nihil team be the 3 Ascension Network agents. I feel like that would be cool. I feel like that would be cool and fun. So if anyone out there from Kuro Games is listening, I think that would be cool. You got used to not seeing a lot of hunky male characters in gacha? Yeah. I'm pretty used to the gender ratio being fairly skewed. It sucks, because, you know, it kind of promotes the idea that, like, the games are primarily for usually straight men. Like, you could include, like, lesbian women in the mix, but, like, I feel like it's not really marketed to them either. Was disappointed that Ito wasn't a 6 feet tall Bara Oni that can pick you up. Redacted for audience's mentality. You were not alone about that. I also wish he was taller and buffer. They can go further. But like, that's why we have characters like Vayne and Belial. And the male characters that we do have in Punishing Grey Raven are pretty good, in my opinion. You were like, I was promised a Bara, not a twunk! They nerfed him. Ito, you mean? Yeah. I guess they had to nerf him because Bara Oni would just be too much. But yeah, I do think the male characters that they have in this game are pretty good. There are some handsome ones, in my opinion. In my humble onion. Should we take a brief detour and just look at some of the men? Should we do that? I feel like we should do that. Let's do it. Come on, we'll get back to the story.
Sorry.
Well, here's Lee, one of the main characters, and goodness. He's had quite the glow up over the years, I have to say. And he also has such a dumb summer skin. And I say that in the best way. Look at this. Look at this. Look at him, he's so stupid. I love it. Oh, you're stuck in ads? Okay. I'll give you a minute. Not that you can hear me right now if you're stuck in ads, but, you know. Welcome back. But yeah, this is Lee wearing the dumbest swimsuit skin. I love it. And there's others. We just got this new frame for Wancha. He's not, like, my favorite of the guys, but something about this frame is working for him, I have to admit. Here's one of Lee's older frames. You see now what I mean about the glow up? You see? You see? Oh, this is Watanabe's newest frame. This is actually not my favorite frame of his. I think Watanabe is the tallest character. And that sure is nice. And although this isn't my favorite of his skins, or my favorite of his frames, looks-wise, there is some pretty good art of it. I have to say that. Oh, this is Roland. He's kind of a villain. It's fine. I feel like you just look at him and you're like, yeah, I know what kind of character this is. But yeah, this is Roland. I don't think you can fix him, but you're welcome to try. Roland is also one who got a bit of a glow up, because, like, he's one of the many characters in this game who originally started as a boss, and then became a playable character. And his, like, original boss version was not very handsome. But, again, glow up. This is Noan. He's cute. I like him. He's nice. He's gentle. This is Kamu. He's got the deep V. The titties. Oh, he's also got this skin. Again, The titties. The titties. And I also got this skin for him because it was free. He got the thigh chaps going on. Yeah. Oh, this is Wancha's old frame. Ugh, this is Chrome. Chrome? Wow. Wow. I'm gay. And he's got some really good skins for this frame. Like this one. And this one. My gosh. Look at him. Look at him. I'm very gay. There's also this one, which a lot of people like. Personally, not my favorite of his, but I get the appeal. I get the appeal. I'm not super into vampires. This is Kamui. It's like the other half of Kamu. He's got big himbo vibes. He does. This is one of Watanabe's older frames. That's Changyu, but he's baby, so we're not doing that for him. This is Chrome's older frame. You're very bi. Yes. This is the one of Watanabe's frames that I think looks really good, but particularly for this one skin that I don't have. Look at this. Look at him. Oh my god. Like, what were they thinking with those muscles? Because whatever they were thinking, I need more of it immediately. He's also got this summer one. This is pretty good too. Is that all? Is that all for the guys? We've got another Lee frame. Oh, Noctis! How could I forget about Noctis? I guess he's also kind of a himbo. He's not as nice as most himbos. He's not mean, per se. More just violent and reckless. But he's fun. I like Noctis. I think he's hot. And I have some of his skins too that are really good. Like this one. And this one. Oh, you remember him? Yeah, did I stream the chapter where he came out, or was that after I started? Was that before I started streaming? Either way, he's definitely showed up at some point. Give you 10 minutes alone with him and you'll have him rolling over and having him say stop. Oh, or spot or stop. I don't know. And I haven't leveled him up, so I don't have like his like leveled up skins unlocked. But this is how he would look when you get him fully leveled. Having him say spot? I see. I don't know if having him see spots? Is that what you meant? Either that, or having him say spot just means something that I don't know. But yeah, he looks good. There's 9S from the collab with Nier Automata. We're not gonna look at him either, because he's also kind of baby, isn't he? And then this is another Kamui one. But yeah, like, there's some pretty good guys. Oh, you mean you would discipline him? Don't worry about that. Those eyes you just saw, that was nothing. Don't worry about that. Some say Ninus' baby, while others say he's not. Yeah, you know. I do know, because Nier Automata is actually a game I have played before. I do know that he is technically 4 years old. But I guess when you're a robot who's like already made in fully created state with a certain level of maturity and knowledge, it's a little different. I haven't seen many of the arts of him with 2B on specific sites, but I can imagine. Not that you would know, you're totes innocent. Of course. This is just something you heard about from a friend, I'm sure. I mean, all of the things I'm talking about are also things I heard from friends, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. Maybe we should get back to the actual story now. But that was a fun detour. Sometimes I'm gonna say it. Sometimes it's just fun to look at men. If you're attracted to them, I mean. It reminds me of a quote I've heard recently. Kissing boys can be fun if it's gay. And I agree with that. I mean, I wouldn't know personally, but I imagine that it would be. And maybe I'll find out one day. That's what you do when you play. Oh. Or another quote, beer making straight men loose since the 1900s. Alright. Anyway. Record. Widower. The one who craved sacrifice most lived on, severed from the chains of time. A widower of an entire era, mourning countless unfulfilled ideals. Speaking of visual novels, you need to get back into reading Nekojishi. I don't know if I've heard of that. I'm gonna give that a quick Google. Oh, I see. Probably not for me, but... Yeah, I see. Probably not for me, but once again, no judgments. If you do get back into it, I hope you have a fun time. Alright. Requesting data resynchronization. Searching for records related to Project String. Oh, you've been busy with college? Yeah. I feel like I was lucky when I was in college, because even though there were some times that I was really busy, I feel like for the most part I was able to achieve, like, you know, a comfortable balance between the work I had to do and being able to, you know, entertain myself. And that probably just has to do with what I studied. I majored in creative writing and theater. I feel like those don't necessarily come with, like, a lot of the type of homework you get in other classes. So, like, I think back, a lot of my homework was, like, reading Shakespeare like meeting outside of class with fellow students to rehearse like a scene, stuff like that. Success. Some data has been deleted by a secondary authority and is unreadable. Proceed with synchronization from this point anyway. Confirm. The human Vanguard team completed the simulation tests for Project String and officially entered the Hetero Tower, carrying the key. The key possessed by the Vanguard team is divided into an input end and a receiving end. The input end is held by team member number 7, Nemo, who is designated for sacrifice, while the receiving end is held by Dominic. A vulnerability has been detected in the key possessed by the humans. This could be our chance. The core itself is part of the Hetero Tower. Its mere removal would open the gateway. Their flawed key will serve perfectly to expand the gateway's range. Next, I will exploit the key's vulnerability to open the gateway and push Dominic and the entire Vanguard team into the fog behind the gate. For those who dare toy with time, there is no more fitting end than to be devoured by the fog, a place where time itself no longer exists. Humans? No. Eliminating Dominic alone will leave humanity helpless. The others are merely collateral casualties. The moment you grasp that false hope, I shall bestow upon you true despair. Hacking into the receiving end of the key. Traction module preload completed. Countdown. 3. Countdown. 2. Countdown. 1. The gateway has opened. Dominic has been successfully cast into the fog, with no means of return. Judgment error detected. Must... Ooh, I'm spitting everywhere. I shouldn't do that much. Ugh. Sorry, that's gross. Log update. The Hetero Tower's core has been melted down. All members of the human Vanguard team have fallen into the fog. Once again, Cradle approaches the Hetero Tower's core, a sight she hasn't seen in a long time. Directly ahead, Vonnegut's gaze fixes upon her. We meet again, Mr. Vonnegut. I read what you said, Ashfrost. I don't know if I should repeat that. Well, this is an adult stream. It's fine. We can say things. Spitting everywhere sounds like you after going to a frat party. You're kidding. I know what you mean by that. The girl curtsies with a lift of her dress, yet the agent remains unresponsive, opting instead to smooth out the creases in his gloves. A pristine blue light shimmers silently behind Vonnegut, and the radiance emanating from the Hetero Tower's core elicits unmistakable displeasure in Cradle's heart. You'll keep the lewd jokes to a minimum? Okay. By human custom, I should first express my full respects to you. But unfortunately, I'm rather pressed for time now, thanks to your schemes. In a flash, the scythe blade cuts through the lingering echo and flies toward the Hetero Tower's core. A fierce red light streaks forward, only to collide with a wall of brilliant blue. The thunderous collision heralds the beginning of their battle. Vonnegut remains perfectly still, merely turning his wrist to reposition the force field, once again intercepting Cradle's assault. Sparks burst forth where blade meets shield, their flashing light reflecting in those eyes of deep gold and bright crimson. It's about time you tell me who you really are. How do you know my Hetero Tower so well? Vonnegut remains silent. The Hetero Tower's core continuously absorbs the punishing virus that fuels their actions. This deadlock only serves to drain both sides' energy needlessly. Moreover, the man before her shows no signs of fatigue. Only the punishing concentration surrounding him has slightly decreased from its previous levels. Upon this realization, Cradle relinquishes her power and pulls back, steadying her scythe against the ground to pause her assault. Just before the girl can steady herself, the agent gives a slight shake of his head. This subtle gesture sends countless possibilities racing through Cradle's mind, but before she can speak with composure, her body trembles upon an instinctive warning of danger. She immediately looks down, only to find her own wide-eyed reflection staring back from the blade protruding through her chest. The blade, thrusted into her back, pierces straight through her chest. Before Cradle can even react, the assassin behind her twists the blade and violently wrenches it sideways through her body. Watching as the blade threatens to slice her body apart, Cradle has no choice but to grab the edge with her bare hands. Red tide seeps from her wound, washing over her deathly pale knuckles. The assassin's weapon shatters, its broken surface reflecting the girl's rare expression of gravity. Cradle realizes her strength is draining away far too quickly. Yet, that gravity soon gives way to her usual demeanor, as Cradle turns around with a smile, her blood-soaked fingers idly toying with the broken blade. You've finally shown yourself, Chaos. Cradle extends both arms towards Chaos, an invitation presented as an embrace. Chaos tosses aside the remaining half of the blade, using her small frame to slip past Cradle's interception and swiftly retreat behind the force field. Only now does Cradle notice that Chaos's body has grown considerably since their last encounter. Last time we met, you could barely walk on your own. Now look at you. No longer a doll, but something more human. This seems quite unusual. Perhaps her own abnormality and the gradually haywire red tide have something to do with Chaos? As these thoughts cross her mind, Cradle dispels her scythe. The red tide, having come along with her, swirls around her legs, and from its roiling waters emerge numerous hetero creatures, their nascent forms taking first strides. No, I've been like this for a while now. The girl waits no longer, striking the newly manifested harp in her arms. The Hetero Tower yields to its original master as the red tide surges forth. Countless red butterflies and hetero creatures answer her call, once again surrounding the blue core. Meanwhile, the girl's eyes bore into Chaos like a curse, an unrelenting gaze that refuses to let go. You can erase my memories? No. You consumed too much that's hard to digest. The chaos in your memories is just a side effect. So it's that, Commandant. She can afford no further delay. The hetero creatures unleash another barrage of attacks, masking a fatal blow within their assault. Even a barrier of such formidable strength cannot withstand Cradle's full power unleashed within the Hetero Tower. Chaos swiftly glides behind Vonnegut, using his body as an impromptu shield. The steadfast barrier erected by the agent's hands remains resolute against the fierce onslaught. As the crimson light from the impact still lingers, Chaos leaps into the air, her fingertips pressed against the Cradle's chest. The touch freezes Cradle in place, rendering her unable to move even half a step. That is precisely where the fruit has taken its deepest root. You piece of... Chaos's lifeless eyes reflect Cradle's fury born of humiliation, a rather unusual sight. Her body rebels against her will, refusing to move. Cradle's eyes remain fixed on Chaos, who has already raised her other arm high above. The target is clear. Cradle's head. Enough! Let go of Cradle! Chaos's movement freezes at those words. This isn't the first time. Just as before, Vonnegut abruptly halts the attack once more. You weren't ready last time, so it's still the same case now? Well then. Even with her body immobilized, she can still broadcast commands as Agent Zero to the unrestrained Hetero creatures. Kill her! The girl stands before the azure light she despises, her deafening command to her creations reverberating through the air. Chaos. The agent points to the evacuation tunnel constructed with the force field. His usually unshakable composure shows its first crack in the face of Chaos's reckless actions. So, now is the time. Cradle sits steady amidst a swarm of crimson butterflies, letting them carry her aloft. She soars past Vonnegut, who holds back the tide of Hetero creatures as she launches herself toward the massive blue core. Gotcha! This is my real target all along! All rationality vanishes as her figure leaps toward the core. Chaos charges through the surging enemies, springing forward and leaping across countless heads to reach Cradle above. The blue core sets both figures ablaze as they draw near. While Cradle remains protected by her butterflies, Chaos's body begins to dissolve piece by piece. Yet she shows no intention of retreating. Instead, she uses her dissolving body as a barrier, desperately trying to keep Cradle from reaching the core. Not bad. Under the dazzling blue light, the girl breaks into a radiant smile. But when her curved eyes widen, they reveal nothing but coldness. At last, I've caught you, Chaos! Cradle opens her arms and holds Chaos tight, turning a tender embrace into an instrument of murder. As if reuniting with a long-lost family member, the girl tightens her hold until it becomes a cage. She buries her face in the doll's neck, crushing what should have been space for tender intimacy. Let me have a taste of you. Her lips curl up as the red tide's crimson hue seeps between her teeth. Then, the girl sinks her teeth into the doll's neck, relishing and devouring the desire she has craved for so long. Pressing her pierced chest against the culprits, Cradle focuses her entire being on reclaiming the control that rightfully belongs to her from Chaos's body. Countless fragments of information, along with Chaos's flesh and blood, flood into Cradle's consciousness. Some are memories before the birth of the doll. Some are stories from her present existence. Deep within these fragments, a fleeting image surfaces of Vonnegut conversing with Chaos, sending an unsettling wave of familiarity through every fiber of Cradle's being. A face both foreign and familiar materializes before her eyes, and she hears her trembling voice asking a question. Whether from her own lips or Agent Zero's, she cannot tell. Dominic? This is the final step. Sheltered behind layers of force fields, the human leader held up an inscrutable device and handed it to Vanguard team member number 7 standing before him. But will this really work? Can this key made from hetero crystals truly melt down the hetero tower's core? If we gain nothing from this, and we lose another team member... Keep your chin up. The simulation test was successful. Ooh, he's kinda cute. But he's dead now, I guess. Nemo. The Vanguard team member number 7, known as Nemo, pats his teammate's shoulder as a final gesture of comfort. But Dominic said even simulation tests can't provide absolute certainty. This is our only option left. We have to try it, whether it succeeds or not. Whether it succeeds or not, you'll... Nemo waved his hand, unwilling to discuss it any further. I'll get going then. With a heart long since dead, the young man strode towards the core. The moment Dominic sent the signal to act, he immediately inserted the connected key. Just as everyone had anticipated, a red light instantly engulfed the entire space as the hetero tower's core gradually melted down. What ensued was a boundless white that filled their vision. Something unexpected happened. This whiteness neither receded nor consumed Nemo alone, but instead devoured the entire hetero tower. When the hetero tower's core melted down, everyone fell into the fog, without a single soul spared. The young man, ready to meet his own demise, now found himself trapped in the fog, seeking the release that was meant to be his salvation within this limitless prison. Even Agent Zero was inevitably caught in the fall. No wonder all memories related to her vanished at that moment. Cradle continues to tear and devour Chaos's flesh, both craving more memories and depriving the doll of her full mobility. Emerging from the tumultuous waves of hetero creatures, Vonnegut finally joins the battle. Somehow, his figure blends seamlessly into the unfolding scene. The core. The key has seized the hetero tower's core. The young man clutched an eerie cube in his hands, the original form of Agent Zero, the crystallized remains of the hetero tower's core after the meltdown. Like a seed within a fruit, it stood ready to sprout into a new hetero tower any moment. Nemo knew with certainty, if there was a way to analyze and harness this seed, humanity would draw closer to the vast starry sky, and to the gate itself. This was Dominic's plan all along. This is our only hope. I must at least send it back before I die. Chaos. Don't waste the fruit's connection. Keep your consciousness stable. The doll, on the verge of dissolving into the blue core, heeds these words and desperately grasps Cradle's shoulder. Control her for 5 seconds. We're back! We made it out of the fog! Wait... Dominic? Where's Dominic? Nemo, what happened to Dominic? Before he could offer any explanation, the young man collapsed from exhaustion. Hey! Let him rest. We made it back from that place thanks to him and the key he carries. 4. The force field completely envelops Chaos, slowing down the hetero tower's core from devouring her. The doll silently clutches at everything within her reach, her silhouette gradually fading into a blur beneath the radiant light. Let's move out. Good luck to us all. As the next memory fragment unfolds before her eyes, Cradle sees the Vanguard members with new frames, their capabilities matching those of Lee's. This is no picnic. What's there to be excited about? I'm not excited, but this is our last hope. If we can pass through the gate, we might still have a chance to make things right. The gate. Last hope. We said the same thing last time. We made the key, took the core, and got people to study it. But now, Dominic's nowhere to be found. We've been going in circles. Even with the key to disrupt the Hetero Tower's rules, we haven't made any progress. We've even had to rely on a kid like you to lead the way through the gate. Nemo, what's wrong? It's nothing. I'm just tired. I'm tired too, Nemo. But soon, there won't be any living humans left in this world. These replicated keys are our last hope, and you, who understand this technology better than any of us, are even more crucial. So this time, let us take the lead. We will definitely pass through the gate. Yep. 3. Seizing back the control, chaos pierces through Cradle's body once again. Yet the girl shows no fear at this assault. Instead, she looks past the doll, fixing her deeply playful gaze upon the agent. Thank you for coming to collect my belongings. There's a candy in the red box. I hope it helps sweeten the bitterness. Feel free to take a short break here, but it's not time yet to stop. Nemo, go find Dominic. Go find our hero. Go find the last hope. The young man clenches his fist and raises it high, but as he brings it down, all his strength fades away. Humanity is almost gone from this world. Why do we keep choosing to march toward our death? Why, again and again, do we search for a hope that has long become hollow? 2. The core of the Hetero Tower trembles, emanating an even more brilliant light. The young man closed his eyes, trying to shut out countless scenes of utter defeat and despair. Then, slowly, he opened his eyes again, gazing at the destination of this long journey. A string of distorted text emerged into the center of his vision. He recognized this handwriting. It belonged to the Vanguard team member number 4. Like everyone else, I rewrote the rules of the Hetero Tower and became a part of it. You really did it. Indeed, they crossed the impossible river on the sacrifices of their companions, stepped through the impassable gate over countless corpses, and now, one. We're close to having our own secret tunnel. When that time comes, take everything we've left behind and go to Dominic's era. The solitary young man collapsed to his knees before the message, curling up in agony, as if his very soul had been torn away. His tumultuous emotions twisted his body into knots, causing his already exhausted consciousness to quiver and shake. The sound that emerged from his throat began as an infant's cry, before bursting into hysterical wails. No one to comfort him, no one to hear him. Only countless ghostly eyes watch him in silence. Cry as he should, until both his voice and tears were exhausted. Only then would his crying stop. Through the blood-stained edge, Cradle sees the final line of the message. Oh, by the way, I want to name the tunnel extending from the Hetero Tower the Bridge Across Dreams. Doesn't it sound nice? And so, crimson consumes all. Okay. So, I'm getting the feeling that Vonnegut is from the other timeline that Cradle comes from. But I'm not totally sure which character he is. Like, I have some conflicting ideas. My first guess would be Dominic. We haven't seen him. And he went missing. So maybe that's who Vonnegut is? But then also maybe it's Nemo? He was supposed to die. The only thing is, like, I don't feel like he and Vonnegut look that much alike. But, like, I don't know. Maybe something happened? I'm not sure who it is. But I feel like he came from the other timeline. That's the sense I'm getting. Record Harvest. Do not die. There's an achievement here, but it's not shown. Alright. Sometimes, when it does this, it means that the mission, or like the chapter, is split into multiple playable sections. So the achievement could just not be in the first section. I think that's what that means. Okay. Outside the Inver Hetero Tower, time silently flows through the deep night, surging towards dawn. The force fields sealing this place do not reject the drifting snowflakes from outside, allowing the New Year's snow to fall through Constellia. Hi, Mumu! Or, ah! Hello, Mumu! Ah! I did it again. Hello, Mumu. How are you? I hope you've been having a good day. I'll get it next time. I got it before, I'll get it again. But yeah, I hope you've been having a good day. Doing good. Oh, you finished the Savage tier? Oh! That's so awesome! Congratulations to you and your group! My own group just got past M6S finally on Monday. Yeah, this raid tier is hard. It's a lot harder than the last one. Yeah, it took us a while to get through M6S because of that ad phase. The Yans! Haven't focused this bad since Eden's Verse and Eden's Promise. Eden's Verse was rough. I didn't experience Eden's Promise when it was like on content though. So when I did it, it was a little easier. I did it before Endwalker came out, but after they had already added the echo to it. So it was a bit easier. But yeah, congratulations! Was the final boss really rough? I have a feeling it's gonna be really rough. And also you said you're finishing up your moon stuff tonight. Good luck finishing your moon stuff. Oh yeah, okay, I already read this. Should be Biss next week. Ooh, nice! Cradle, after a long slumber, finally awakens from the stagnant red tide. Oh, by the way, I'm doing some new story stuff in Punishing Grey Raven. I don't know if you know anything about this game, but this is a very significant story chapter, so a lot is happening, and it might be hard to explain. This character, Cradle, is our villain. Creepy little girl. The precious gain from this venture, that agent's past, is truly worth savoring, and she purses her lips in relish. Oh, by the way, I want to name this tunnel extending from the Hetero Tower the Bridge Across Dreams. Doesn't it sound nice? The Bridge Across Dreams. Such a poetic name given to an illegal structure. However, if the keys they carried were similar to what I saw in the Hetero Tower back then, it could indeed alter some of the tower's rules, and even create a space of their own. Cradle paces back and forth anxiously within the red tide. This could very well be the reason why the Hetero Tower in this world transformed into the Inver Hetero Tower. But no one had the key back then. Did someone help? Or was that construct really capable of doing these things? Looking at it now, her previous failure was indeed caused by those Vanguard team members. But how did he manage to return from the fog? As she paces, turning thoughts over in her mind, she arrives at only one possibility. Perhaps he exploited a flaw of the key, allowing the input end held by him to seize the Hetero Tower's core? Could the Hetero Tower have appeared here also because he brought the core over? Cradle breaks into a laugh, as if having finally figured something out. Interesting. The Vanguard team ended up outsmarting themselves, and the same fate befell Agent Zero. History sure has a knack for repeating itself, doesn't it? The Dominic there vanished when seizing the core, while the Dominic over here disappeared after the burst of 0-point energy. It's truly like an inescapable closed loop. But why? Why does a gatekeeper exist only before this gate? According to her recovered records, before the construct known as Lee could knock upon this gateway, a gatekeeper blocked his path. Like a deliberately placed safeguard, the gatekeeper stood as both a warning to those who would trespass beyond the gate, and a guide to those who came prepared for the challenge. Just what is the gatekeeper's true identity? Where would she take those who cross the gateway? To the deepest gateway? Would she devour them? Or perhaps... Don't make me regret this. Such speculations lead nowhere, but she can be certain of one thing. The gatekeeper is not an envoy of the gateway. As for Vonnegut, it turned out that he was one of the Vanguard team members all along. Once just another piece of rotten wood, he was the first to volunteer for what seemed like a certain death, and yet ended up being the last survivor. It's just his behavior remains inscrutable. It neither fully aligns with Nemo's behavioral patterns, nor shows clear traces of anyone else's influence. What could be the reason for this? What if, like the red tide, multiple consciousnesses have merged within? Did Professor Trout tell you what it is that he needed you guys to do for him? I think it's got to do with memory data. Lithos told me that memory data is this thing that turns everything in the human brain into data and stores it somewhere else. Some people change their bodies using it. I hope it's something that allows people to change their bodies, though. I really want to see Professor Trout alive again. The girl's voice resonates in her mind, echoing Cradle's predictable line of speculation. Could this be when the consciousness of Trout merged with that of Nemo? Oh, that would explain why they don't look alike. Given the technological limitations of the Golden Age, could Trout's consciousness really have remained intact? There must be numerous consciousness fragments of others inside, preventing him from maintaining control according to his original plan. Just like the ship of Theseus. And I'm no different now. She touches the spot on her chest where chaos struck her. Even if she dismantles this body and reassembles it, as long as the red tide is used for repairs, chaos will know. There is no escaping this predicament. The red tide itself is a jumble of countless consciousnesses and chaotic information. That's why most hetero creatures display such erratic behaviors. Only a sufficiently stable consciousness can drown out the voices of others and maintain their sense of self. After such a fusion, whose wishes are they really fulfilling? What truly drives them forward? Ooh. This reminds me of spoilers for Final Fantasy XIV Shadowbringers. So maybe don't listen for like a minute or so. This reminds me of in patch 5.3 when they confronted Elidibus and they were like, "You're a primal. And it's been so long. How can you... Like, you've heard the voices of people crying for salvation for so long. How can you be sure that the voice that you hear is your own? How do you know that you're still yourself?" She suddenly feels a sense of estrangement from herself. Is she driven by the duty of Agent Zero and the coldness that should come with her? Or by Cradle's curiosity and her respect for humanity and civilizations? She feels lost in this unfamiliar state of existence. What exactly am I now? Once again, she recalls Yuko's pointed question. Forget it. Who cares anyway? No matter what she is, what needs to be done now is clear. It's time to stop those trying to approach the rift. After a night of long talks and rest, you and Lucia sit up from the soft beds in the infirmary. Good morning, Commandant. Lucia gently cups your face, examining it carefully. Are you okay? You look much better now. But why the look on your face? It's nothing. I just had another incredibly long dream. You're okay. Can you tell me what you dreamed about? It was very long. There's still some time before we head to the underground parking lot. I dreamed about dying in the red tide. Many times. So many that I can't even tell if they're memories of what's already happened or visions of what's yet to come. In one of them, Rose died too. That was what happened last night. The red tide gradually swallowed Constellia. It was as if the city had been abandoned by the world, left waiting for help that never came. And then... And so, you begin to tell your dream. In this long dream, Constellia remained sealed off for an eternity, abandoned and untouched, even as the red tide dissolved every last corpse drowned within. 10 years later, Lithos, now an Ascendant, returned to the city with Vonnegut's help and found the hairpin hanging from the ceiling. At last, he learned the truth. Rose had entered Constellia looking for him. Just 30 minutes too late for their paths to cross, she met her end here. Unable to bear this truth, Lithos took his own life before Rose's remains. His death brought an end to many things before they even began. And so Ravenge lived on, while the old Grey Raven continued its missions in an unstable state. Until one operation, where his desperate bid for glory drove him to force a night raid, resulting in devastating casualties within the squad, and severe damage to Lucia's mind. No longer able to fight, rejected by every squad, Lucia wandered between cities with only her sword for company, until Luna found her and brought her back to their old home, where she now spent her days staring blankly at the sunlight outside. What about you then? She gently wraps her hands around your neck as she moves on to what she cares about more. I missed Grey Raven, and instead was assigned to Suzaku. Liv and Lee still joined me, though the squad captain was another construct. Who's that? Have you heard of Emma Copperfield? I have. She's the Copperfield's heiress. We saw records of her childhood when we fought that butler mechanoid guarding the Copperfield estate, right? Ooh, I've never seen her design before. I kinda like her design. I like the flowers. Although, is that are there vines inside her stomach? I know constructs can do weird stuff like that, but that's a little bit gross. Still, I think her design is interesting. Yeah, that's her. Why did you choose her? She was standing in the hallway, greeting me with a smile, saying she wanted to become Suzaku's captain. And then, how did the squad perform? Not particularly well. Emma was a support construct. We failed to notice many problems. In the battle at Pulia Forest Park, Liv never came back. She didn't even make it to switch to Imperia. The red tide was the same. It appeared out of nowhere, Just like how Constellia's barrier was suddenly broken. And before we knew it... Commandant? She calls out in a gentle voice, as if trying to wake you from the lingering shadows of a nightmare. We still have a chance to change things. Yeah. We still have a chance to change things. For those we have lost. For those we can yet save. You raise your head, managing a smile that isn't entirely forced. I've recalled some things that happened in the Hetero Tower. Yep. If I were to die in the red tide like that, you must bring the key back. Commandant. Contrary to her usual self, she interrupts your unfinished sentence, and after a long moment of hesitation, voices her request almost as a whisper. Do not die. Lucia lowers her eyes and places her hands on yours, in a firm but tender grip. Yeah, the dream is over now. Yes, and now we've been talking and... sorry, am I interrupting something? It's fine, go ahead. Okay. After discussing it for a while, we want to go with you to the underground parking lot. Well, there are a few reasons. First, we've checked out the area, and it seemed pretty safe down there, with no major threats or exits to the outside. Second, we're all pretty desperate to find an escape ourselves. The boys and I have been starving for days, and we can't hold out much longer. And third, my men have told me about your capabilities. With you around, there should be nothing much to be afraid of, I suppose. Since you noticed last night that those hetero creatures were targeting us, you must understand this trip to the underground parking lot won't be a walk in the park. It's not like we're safe here starving either. You guarantee those things won't come after you leave? Besides, if I have to choose between starving to death or dying in battle, I prefer the latter. At least let us teach those bastards a lesson. I won't rest in peace until I've put a few bullets in them. It'll be very dangerous. Where exactly is safe now? You think those whatever they are creatures won't come after us once you're gone? They attacked us before you even showed up. Let us come with you. None of us can sit still anymore. And besides, we can take care of ourselves. But I also think Lucia has a point. You should stay here. It won't take us long. I wouldn't recommend that either. Here's the deal. I have the access card you wanted from Mona. Either you take all of us with you, or you'll have to kill me to get it. Mona. Don't give me that look. I shouldn't give the card to anyone. But he said he'd take the blame and serve the time if needed. That's why I gave it to him. Will you come with us? No way. It's too dangerous. I'm getting married next month, and I have 2 cats waiting for me at home. I just need to look after myself and survive no matter what. Excuse me, but nobody asked if you were getting married. Shit, I was half expecting your next excuse to be about a 5-foot fish you caught that's still waiting to be claimed at your fish farm. Huh? What's wrong with valuing my own life and being sensible? Not everyone's like you lot, acting like starving dogs ready to bite at anything that moves. Alright, cut it out. If it weren't for those 2 boxes of snacks Mona left here, none of us would have made it this far. So that's that. Listen here. Commandant from who knows where, either you take us with you, or you're not going anywhere either. Commandant. Whether you split up or stay together, if there's danger anyway... Fine. Let's move together. We'll be back. Be careful. Watch out for those butterflies. All right.
Why are the dead people here?
Butterflies. I ran into them on my way down looking for the exit.
Come on, stop freaking me out.
It's indeed because of those butterflies.
Commandant, watch out!
Okay. Can I go through here? Around?
The light! What's wrong with it again?
You should head back first if you don't feel well.
You too, Sam. You should head back if you are.
Wait, don't touch him!
He's at a high level of corruption. When did he become corrupted?
Cradle. She's probably why this infection is happening as fast as it is.
Is it possible for those red butterflies to live off humans?
Is it what? What are you talking about?
One of the butterflies got in my mouth. My stomach. It hurts so much.
Do we have any serum left?
Be careful.
Uh-oh. Okay. Ah!
Somebody's pulling me! Help me!
Ah! I'm going to kill every last one of these things!
I'll go check it out.
I'm coming with you, Commandant. You guys can head back first.
The wounded can head back. We're staying. God knows if you guys are just gonna leave us here to die if you find a way out.
He's got a point. We're all gonna end up starving to death here if we don't get out. Nobody wants to start cannibalism today. So I'm going with you guys no matter what you say.
Well then. Those of you who are hurt should head back first.
I'm not going back. I'm doing just fine. And God knows what I'm gonna run into on my own if I head back alone now.
Right. You have a point. I'm staying too.
Let's move along then.
All right. Stay safe.
A Mercenary's Journal. It's 6 a.m. on December 27th, 2160. I didn't sleep last night. I've been trapped in this damn place for 7 days. The terminal still has no signal, and the electricity went off this morning. The instant noodles and cookies in the vending machine are gonna run out. I'm gonna die someday. The only family member I have is Grandma. Now I can't go back. I wonder what she would think. When I was little, Grandma often told me I was lucky to be born in a good era. She was born in one of the most affected areas during the war. I didn't think so. Science geniuses, politicians, and entrepreneurs are blessed. But what can I do? My own job? Just like all the other working machines? I'm a nobody. A good time is not enough to turn me into some genius or celebrity and put me on an aircraft bound for the galaxy, or make me drop the idea of playing games after work and study hard to become some great scientist. Moreover, it takes more than working hard to achieve these. It's the same with Mom. She wouldn't stay with her family and give up pursuing her ideal life just because it's a good time. But now, I finally understand the feeling Grandma said. The feeling of having nothing to eat for days. And how important a good time and the subsistence allowances given to the poor are. I promise I will take a new look at my life if I get to survive this. So, can I survive this? When I lost sleep, I kept thinking about what I could do to survive and help others. But I was so starved and sleepy that my mind was full of bad ideas, making it hard to concentrate. I feel wired and uptight. I only want to scream when someone says something to me. I need to rest. How could I manage that on this cold floor? I need a good meal to think properly about what to do next. Where can I get that? I see grass in the flower bed.
It wasn't this bad when we came here last time. No. Pretty sure the same thing is gonna happen even if we head back now. So let's just move along.
Oh, what's this? Oh, it just lets me look back at it. Okay. Huh. Alright, gotta go around somehow. Not that way. Toward this, ominous mist. Rats? That was just rats, right?
Screw this! I'm done with this shit! I'm taking all of you down with me!
What?
This place is getting creepier by the second.
Access granted. Let's move.
Hurry up and fall back!
The butterflies. It's right, bro. They have us cornered. I'm gonna stop them.
Yeah, this does feel like a horror game now. It's kind of funny because like this is not a horror game, but I feel like it does horror pretty well. Ah! Ew, ew.
I just checked and found that there's actually a floor where the elevator doesn't stop. It's right above where we are, probably between B7 and B8. It's safe here since the butterflies haven't shown up yet. Let me see if there is a way to make the elevator stop on the hidden floor. Mona said we should be able to get a temporary code from down there.
Alright, be careful. Okay, yeah, the achievement is in this section. The truth always hides in dark, damp corners. Okay, I'm gonna check a lot of dark, damp corners then. Gonna just look everywhere I can. Are those eyes? Oh, hi. A staff member's journal. Man, to access that special intermediate floor for decoration, every one of us has to get a unique passcode with the ID card and enter that code again in the elevator to make it stop at that floor. Do they have to make it so hard?
There was a massacre here before we arrived, and his access card had been used. Could it be Cradle?
Lasers. Fun. Is there a way through? Or... Okay, no, it's just... I can't walk through there. Lasers here, too. What's in the dark, damp corners? Tell me! Ah! Okay. I'm gonna look around first. Would not want to leave something behind. Like, really, are those eyes? Are they just lights that are blinking through collision or something? Oh.
I've successfully activated our access, Commandant.
I got the achievement. Yay!
Our temporary code is 973654. Gotta remember this number.
The elevator's here.
Yep,
Let's
coming.
go. Also the red tide is coming. That's not good. Okay, so that's that. And then one more in this section. And it echoes the one from last time. Why do you transform into a butterfly? For I am but decaying wood, yet I refuse to simply rot. A massive crimson tide suddenly erupts from the dark passage, smashing through the walls in its path like a raging torrent. Everyone watches anxiously as Lucia finally steps into the elevator. The pale light casts an eerie glow on the flustered faces, while the roaring tide relentlessly chases you from beneath the ascending elevator. What do we do now? Don't tell me this thing's gonna flood the streets too. Let's get back to the surface first and assess the situation. Why didn't you tell us about this earlier? Even the emergency stairs in this damn space have collapsed. She warned us about it long ago, but we didn't listen. Should we try the hidden floor? The red tide surges up from below once again, its smash sending out ear-splitting sounds of destruction. The ascending elevator shudders from the impact and slowly grinds to a halt. Its doors opening to reveal an unfamiliar floor. So this is the hidden floor? Let's hide here for now. Before anyone can step out of the elevator into the dim tunnel ahead, a thunderous roar, akin to a bursting dam, erupts from around the corner. The tunnel buckles under the weight and collapses in an instant, its scattered debris instantly swallowed by the surging red tide. Move back! Lucia slams her fist on a button. As the elevator doors slowly close, the light from within reveals the barely concealed anxiety on Lucia's face. In the next moment, the entire elevator shakes violently as the tide envelops it from all sides. Only one step away. You got the password, and the rift of the Inver Hetero Tower is right there in front of you. You are just one step away from entering it. One step away from returning to the Inver Hetero Tower. One step away from the path that leads home. Yet this single step might as well be an eternity, with the insurmountable torrent of the red tide separating you and the destination. What are you supposed to do? How can you possibly get past the red tide flooding the entire tunnel? Looking up at Lucia, her expression mirrors your own gravity. Ever since witnessing those deaths, he rarely finds moments of peace. We're almost at the surface. Let's get out of here first. At least we have the password. We can discuss everything else once we're safe. All right. Suddenly, a violent impact strikes the bottom of the elevator. The elevator doors distort under the relentless water pressure, emitting a piercing screech as the metal tears apart. Then, crimson droplets trickle through the crevices of the elevator, gradually converging into a slender stream. The red tide is flooding into the elevator. It's the hetero creatures. They're attacking from below the elevator. Before those words can even settle, another fierce impact strikes the elevator, hurling the humans who have barely regained their footing into a tumultuous tumble once again. Multiple fractures have quietly emerged around unnoticed, and the oozing crimson fluid effortlessly shatters what little sense of safety they clung to. Like prey surrounded on all fronts, the survivors in the elevator huddle tightly together at its center. Lucia. Got it. Let's leave through the top. Lucia hands over her pyro katana before lifting you up. The relentless strikes of the hetero creatures have already exhausted the elevator's stability. The opening at the top gradually widens as you pry up at the blade. Shit, hurry up! You need a hand? The red tide continues to surge through the bottom cracks, while the omega core of the pyroth frame operates at full power, repelling the encroaching hostility. The pyro katana emits flames, melting through the last stubborn welds. A powerful strike from its hilt warps the metal sheet, creating an opening large enough for one person to pass through. Through the breach awaits a shadowy passage, illuminated dimly by the distant glow of the top floor. Lucia, check for any activities above. The signals are all gathering below, but we're close to the surface here. The butterflies might fly up. We can kill those things without breaking a sweat. Get up there first. The red tide will eat through your legs if you stay in it. The two mercenaries grab your outstretched hand, one after another, climbing onto the top of the elevator. After climbing up, Chico turns around and reaches down through the opening to offer you her hand. Your turn now. Looking down after climbing to the top, a chilling realization dawns upon you. The red tide has risen past Lucia's calves. Emerging out of nowhere, a hetero creature suddenly lunges at the construct who's about to escape. The floating blade intercepts the attack meant for Lucia. The dissipating red glow reflecting in her eyes as she glares at the enemy. Commandant, go up with them first. I'll hold these enemies back. All right, but don't take too long. Naturally. You shift your gaze from the battle below to the faces of the three people around you. The mercenaries have already confirmed the steel cable's durability. Do your gloves have enough grip? Chico reaches out her hand. Of course. You go first. I'll cover the rear and keep the hetero creatures from climbing up. The mercenaries exchange a glance and then nod to you. I'll leave it to you, son. The mercenary seizes the steel cable, swiftly ascending with newfound vigor, propelled by the glimmer of hope on the horizon. And then comes Chico. Need a hand? It's fine. I got you up front, and Lucia's watching our back. All right. She grips the steel cable firmly and climbs higher. Below, another wave of muffled crashes ripples through the metal plating, causing the elevator beneath to shake uncontrollably. Crimson waves surge through the crevices as a glint of platinum hue flashes in the periphery of your sight. Looking up, the silhouettes of the three have already vanished into the radiant light of hope above. They must have reached the surface. Time to climb up. The steel cable holds firm. Each upward pull brings you one step closer to hope. Another violent tremor rocks the elevator, the vibrations coursing straight through your palms. Lucia. It'll be okay. She can definitely handle it. Upward. A viscous liquid clings to your hands, impeding your ascent. More. A putrid stench assaults your nostrils. Keep going. Light from the exit finally floods your vision. And then, a familiar figure crouches at the edge, level with your position. She rests her chin on one hand, batting her innocent-looking eyes as she waves at you, just as you emerge from your ascent up the elevator shaft. Well, hello there, Grey Raven Commandant. Cradle! The radiant light reveals not only the girl's figure, but also the lifeless body lying by her feet. Chico's eyes remain wide open in death, fixedly gazing upward. When did you... Wondering how I managed to hide myself? I was in the Red Tide all along. How could Lucia possibly find someone made of the Red Tide within the Red Tide itself? Lucy... Before her name can leave your lips, an excruciating pain tears through your body. Blood splatters into your eyes, painting your entire vision crimson. How many more deaths must you endure before returning to your own time? How many more failures must you face before finding the way to take that final step? No. Perhaps there is no chance left. The key is almost depleted. This end, roughly weaved, is filled with desperation and reckless failure. You were just one step away from returning to the Hetero Tower. So close to making it. Lucia. At least this time. Don't look at me. Those unheard words, along with the broken body, plummet down the elevator shaft behind. Something rocks the elevator cap from the top, and a wave of weightlessness washes over Lucia like rising bubbles. A single droplet of crimson falls from above, only to be followed by more blood. Lucia's motions gradually still as she gazes upward at the crimson trails cascading down, the very shade that sears through her heart. She knows exactly what it is. She knows where the blood is coming from. She doesn't even need to look to know the condition that body must be in to shed so much blood. in such a short time. Everything now resembles the mirrored walls of the elevator, a boundless, inescapable cycle. Far too many times has it occurred. A person and a heart, relentlessly torn apart. Believing they seek hope within the loops, convinced they are just one step away. Yet death, time and again, has been all that awaits them both. Her hands fall limply to her sides. The hetero creatures that have been relentlessly pursuing them now vanish into the red tide, as if their mission is complete. Back then, while chasing after Liv in the church, she had asked herself the same questions. Was her life nothing but a dead end? Why did all these tragedies keep repeating themselves? Just a step distant, just a fleeting instant out of sight. Barely a minute away. The red tide swirling between her calves surges with her despair, poised to consume her whole. Calm and taut. Something inherently wrong that has long dwelt within her heart now festers freely, exuding the stench of decay. Next time, she will never let go of those hands. Next time, she will never let that person out of her sight. Next time, even if it means tearing herself apart. A faint cracking sound interrupts her tumultuous thoughts. The key. Her last hope lies cracked in her hands, giving her no response. Everything unfolds just as she predicted. Time refuses to rewind. No miracle occurs. She is left with no chance. The elevator lights suddenly die out, leaving only one last brilliant arc of light. And then, the red tide surges forth, consuming everything in its path. By afternoon, the setting sun casts a warm glow over the tranquil golden time court of Constellia, restoring a semblance of peace to the surroundings. In the underground parking lot, the echo of deliberate footsteps reverberates. A figure draws near, their gait uneven as they limp forward, aided by a wooden stick. Cradle. It's been a while. She looks at Yuko's legs, now festering from the infection. Would you like my help? Though I can only slow down the infection's spread. Where's everyone else? Her icy question reverberates through the empty parking lot, striking Cradle's eardrums along with its haunting echoes. The girl simply blinks, pointing at the elevator behind her. Are they still alive? Alive in the red tide. So this is what you meant by protection. Is this also how you treated your creator? That curse queller? Cradle finds herself at a loss for words, startled to realize that her memories of the creator have begun to fade. You told me about your birth, how you firmly believed your mission was to silence the sound of the tide and to guide that creator. You said you witnessed their choice, and their will brought about your birth, giving you form and life. After their death, you said you would carry on the Creator's will to not harm others. You also said that you approached me because I, too, am a creator. Then what exactly are you doing now? Are you truly following that Creator's will? Or perhaps you're doing it for my wishes? Tell me, what exactly are you? Once more, she poses that question. The very same one she asked Cradle when she first saw the festering corpses. Are you the Agent Zero you keep talking about? The Guardian from the story? Or are you still Cradle? Yuko forces her weakened legs to move, staggering toward Cradle with each trembling step. Let me ask you one final question. Tell me, is Chico still alive? Despite already knowing the truth, Yuko still clings to that desperate, illusory hope as she utters these words. Such foolishness. It reminds Cradle of all those worthless stories Yuko used to tell. Mere memories that hold no significance. You promised me that if I found my sister, you'd give me a chance to help her. That's my deepest wish. You told me to lead those people to capture chaos, and I did it. You told me to persuade Barley, and I did that too. I even went as far as to incite those mercenaries. So everything I did only ended up getting Chico killed? In that moment of silence, Yuko finds her answer in Cradle's eyes. So, it was all my fault. I've always been a loser. Nothing but a failure. An objective assessment. I have always wanted to do something for Chico. Always thinking of ways to repay her care. Always trying to become someone useful to her. But in the end, the harder I tried to help her, the more I wanted to prove my worth to her. The more I became nothing but a burden. Indeed it is. But if that is the case, there is something Cradle cannot comprehend. You've already labeled yourself as nothing but rotten wood, calling yourself that repeatedly. So why do you cling to life so desperately, still persisting in these futile efforts? For I am but rotten wood, yet I refuse to simply rot. You wonder why I cling to life so desperately? It's because I can't accept this fate. I refuse to die a worthless death. That's why I'm still alive, still fighting, still searching for a way to change. I never wanted to die before I could repay Chico for all she did for me. But you killed her! The gun hidden in Yuko's hand is now raised high. Cradle thought she would never have the courage to draw it. How could you do this? You promised me! Cradle finds herself unable to answer, torn between the consciousnesses within her. Agent Zero loudly dismisses the question as trivial, while Cradle is adrift in a fog of hazy memories, devoid of purpose and clarity. One moment she seems to be following her destined mission and original will. The next, she feels as if she's awakening from a long dream, only to discover she has committed unforgivable sins. She is meant to devour civilization whole, yet she finds joy in humanity's unyielding will. She wants to support them, to witness their journey, to honor them. Which side is truly wrong? I'm going to kill you! For everyone you murdered! Cradle watches as this human, body covered in festering wounds, channels her hatred into a throat-rending roar. Her last defiant cry harmonizing with the resonant bark of her gun. Her vision split into two planes, accompanied by an ear-piercing ringing, as relentless as the chirping of summer cicadas. Friend, or mere rotten wood? Which one is correct? Who cares? The scythe thrust through Yuko's back, its blade halting mere inches from Agent Zero's front. The weapon woven from the red tide shortly dissipates back into the surging tide as Yuko, on death's door, falls forward onto Agent Zero's shoulder. Her remaining willpower keeps her eyes open, but her hands, drained of strength, can no longer grasp onto anything. The gun drops into the red tide, and with it, her will fades away. The lifeless body rests in Agent Zero's arms, as if two long estranged friends sharing one embrace. A hollow emptiness washes over the girl's awareness, as though part of her very being has been carved away. Sensing Yuko's fading warmth beneath her touch, she listens to the last tremor of that shattered heart. It no longer matters. What comes next will not conflict with Agent Zero's mission. And so she acquiesces, permits the essence of Cradle within her to awaken, her eyes fluttering open in tandem with that heart's last throbs. Let's go, Yuko. Cradling the body in her arms, she whispers softly as she walks deeper into the darkness. I will make your wish come true. The girl opens the elevator door while holding her friend in her arms. The churning red tide still surges within the elevator shaft, resembling a silent crimson coffin. You will become one with the red tide. Become part of each other. As she plummets, the rushing wind snatches her whispers, reducing them to faint, almost inaudible murmurs. No need to worry about your flaws anymore. The girl falls onto tiny cresting waves, landing in the boundless sea of crimson. She raises her forearm, then flips her palm. From the depths of the red tide, where Yuko and Chico dissolved, a butterfly emerges, landing silently on Cradle's fingertip. If you still hate me after this, then I shall give you a chance to hurt me. In the deepening night, she closes her eyes and swallows the butterfly from her fingertip. Shaper's ripples, rotten wood. Somehow, I feel like part 2 managed to be even more depressing than part 1. Like, the end of part 1 was sad, but this one was like even more bleak, I think. There are still 2 parts left though, and I guess the next one focuses on Lucia. Alright. I think I will end it there, because looking ahead, the next part 3 has the longest number of like sections, so I feel like it'll take a while. Oh, and it's already 1. So yeah, I should definitely end here. Alright. in that case, thank you all for coming to hang out again and go through this, admittedly very emotionally taxing story. Yeah, thank you for coming. Thank you for hanging out. Unless something else happens, I'm planning on streaming again tomorrow. I want to pick up where I left off and do this new third part. So, yeah, let's look for somebody to raid. One second. One moment. I believe... Yes. Sir Alex is streaming now. It looks like he's playing Elden Ring. And I had been meaning to raid him back as thanks for him raiding me on Friday. So I'm gonna do that now. So let's all go over to see Alex and say hi and wish him luck with Elden Ring, okay? Alright. Bye everybody. I'll see you tomorrow, maybe. Assuming nothing happens. Yeah, so see you later. Thanks again for coming, and I hope you have a really good day tomorrow and a good weekend coming up. Bye!